I know. I said 3 to 3:30, right? That's what I said. That's when I said I'd be going live. Here we are, 2 o'clock, still 2 hours away from the deadline. And I thought instead of all of these update videos and driving you all crazy and making it impossible for me to keep up, why not just go live now? Why not just go live for the next 2 hours on this Saturday cut day? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe. Welcome to cut down day in the NFL, where all teams have to have their teams down to 53 players on the active roster. It's been a crazy day in the NFL already, guys. I have my updates coming: Facebook, Twitter, phone, computer. I'm going nuts. I'm going nuts, but I'm going to keep you guys up to date on everything that's going on. First of all, guys, welcome to Believers Talk. If you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button for continual breaking Buffalo Bills and Buffalo sports news. Also, while you're here, hit that thumbs up button. And for everyone who's coming in, for everyone who's here, share this video. Share this video on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, all those things, all those social media places where I have no idea what I'm doing. You guys can help me out. Go ahead and share this video. But again, guys, it is cut down day in the NFL. I've done some videos already, some more updates since the last time I did a video. Wide receiver Duke Williams has been cut. And guys, I know to some of you that may be a surprise, and that might be hard to swallow. For those of you who have been a fan of this channel in the past, you know that I haven't always been the biggest Duke Williams supporter, and just to see the additions we've made at wide receiver, to think that Duke Williams had a chance to make this team, I just thought it was out of his league. I do believe that he can make an NFL 53-man roster, but when you look at the Buffalo Bills wide receiving core, it's just going to be hard for him to make a roster here. And you see Duke Williams go to San Fran, where they're suffering some wide receiver injuries. See him maybe going to the Jets. See him going to a different place. Absolutely, I could see that happening, but not here in Buffalo. It's nice to have the issue of having too much talent, right? You have too much talent, makes this hard, makes it hard for us to make these cuts. Guys, as you get in here again, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. Again, I said I'd be live around 3:30. Well, here we are, 2 o'clock. I'll still be live around 3:30 because I'm going to stay with you for the next 2 hours as we talk about these cuts, okay? So it's going to be very exciting. And then I'll let you know this too, if you're joining me, after 4 o'clock, when the deadline hits, go over to Matt Perino's YouTube channel. He's going to go live right after the cuts happen. So after you're done hanging out with me here on Believers Talk, go hang out with Matt Perino, and we're going to break down the 53-man roster. Right now, I believe under last update, we're at like 61 guys, something like that. So let me go through some of the cuts that happened already today. And again, I did do a video on some of these guys. I did a video on Trey Adams and a few of the guys not too long ago. Jason Kroom was cut. But let's go through the day so far. So it started off with Jason Kroom getting cut somewhere around 9:30 in the morning. Right after that, Antonio Williams, running back from UNC, got cut. After that, we released Josh Thomas. Marquel Harrell was waived as well. Cam Lewis, cornerback, he was another name that some people were not expecting. He was cut. Linebacker Andre Smith, the guy that we just traded for, giving up a conditional 7th-round pick. So it looks like we'll get that pick back from the Carolina Panthers, but he was cut. You talk about Trey Adams out of Washington, undrafted free agent out of Washington. A lot of fans were happy to see us pick him up as an undrafted free agent. Now he's been waived, so he is no longer on the 53-man roster. Brandon Walton, offensive lineman, he's been released. Wide receiver, as we just talked about, Duke Williams, he has been released. And tight end Nate Becker, he has been released. So those are the releases that have happened today. Of course, this coincides with yesterday. We heard about Joseph being cut, so he was cut. We heard about DeMarco being put on IR, so he's not going to be on the team. So a lot of roster moves going on for the Buffalo Bills. So I hope you guys are paying attention. And as I come on, we're waiving defensive end Brian Cox Jr. So as everyone might not be aware, we signed Brian Cox Jr. during the offseason, and now it looks like we will be waiving Brian Cox Jr., defensive end. So that's one more player gone. So we're going to stay here with you guys for the next 2 hours. While I'm here, guys, you know how my live stream works. You don't want to talk or listen to me talk this whole time. Leave some comments. Let me know how you guys feel about these cuts. What do you think about Duke Williams getting cut? What do you think about Brian Cox Jr. getting cut? Are there some guys, Andre Smith, who just got cut, who we just traded for? Do you think that, word that I heard from Twitter is Andre Smith spent 1 hour practicing with the Buffalo Bills, 1 hour, and Brandon Beane made a determination off the hour. Do you think that's a little insane, a little ridiculous, right? A little too soon, maybe putting the cart before the horse, I believe is the saying. I don't know. You guys know this kind of stuff. I don't. But yeah, so again, guys, thank you for joining me. But make sure that you leave a comment. Make sure you let me know what you think. Bills Mafia, we want to hear what you think about Duke Williams being cut. If you look at the current wide receiver situation for Buffalo, again, it was going to be tough for him to make this roster, just the way it is, right? So if you looked at the wide receiver room, it was a big task. You talk about Stephon Diggs, who had John Brown. You talk about Cole Beasley. You talk about the addition of Gabe Davis, Isaiah Hodgins, Isaiah McKenzie, some Andre Roberts, right? These are some big name wide receivers who, even if they're not as good as Duke Williams, have specific roles. Andre Roberts, if you talk about wide receiver skill versus wide receiver skill alone, you might say, hey, Duke Williams is better than Andre Roberts as a wide receiver. You throw in the fact that Andre Roberts is both our kick and punt return guy for the Buffalo Bills, that means so much more. Gives him so much more value to keep on this team than it does Duke Williams. So there are plenty of reasons why you kept a player like Andre Roberts over Duke Williams. But we're going to keep you up to date on the depth chart. We still have to figure out who are we keeping. Jake Fromm, Davis Webb. What's the word on the street right now? I haven't heard anything about that situation. Will there be a give me a second here as I figure out what I'm trying to say. Who's going to be our third running back? It was Tywan Jones going to stay on this team. Christian Wade. Will Christian Wade make this team? I don't think so, but there are a lot of things that go into a roster that I'm not sure what Brandon Beane, Coach McDermott are thinking. So again, guys, I'm very excited to see what happens. Again, as you're coming in here, hit that thumbs up button as we will be live for the next 2 hours, keeping you up to date on anything going on as far as cuts. And we might not just talk, I have NFL Network on as well, so I'll be looking up at the screen. And we will not just talk about Buffalo Bills cuts. When we see a big cut from another team, we'll definitely take you there, and we'll talk about that cut as well and see if there's some addition for the Buffalo Bills. Listen, I did not think that the Buffalo Bills were going to cut Jason Kroom. And as I say that, there's another tweet by Matt Perino. The Buffalo Bills are waiving Tenzel Smart, defensive tackle. No big surprise there for me. Again, the defensive tackle position, a room that we have lots of depth in. So we're going to see what continues to happen there at the defensive tackle position. But for now, I think that that's the right move. Scoops on scoops. Matt Perino, again, if you're not following Matt Perino on Twitter, he is trying to keep everyone up to date. Josh Clark, I'd rather keep Webb and release Elite White from LOL. Hey, again, at least with Webb, he knows a little bit about the system. Now, the thing with Fromm is he's the younger guy, right? He's the younger guy, so you might keep him in. Hey, Pavlos, how you doing? Good to see you in here. Wilton, I don't understand how they kept Sweeney over Kroom. The guy missed him. Sweeney they didn't keep Sweeney. They did not keep Sweeney. So yesterday, they decided to keep Sweeney on the PUP list. So they didn't exactly keep Tommy Sweeney. So originally there was they thought that Tommy Sweeney was going to be put on the active roster, but then later in the afternoon yesterday, the plan was to put Tommy Sweeney on the PUP list, and that is what he is. That's where he is right now. Tommy Sweeney is still on the PUP list, but I am surprised that they did not keep Jason Kroom, because I thought Jason Kroom in 2018 was beginning to come into his own. Injuries became a factor in 2019. Unfortunately, he missed the full season last year. But again, we don't know where the coaching staff, we don't know what Coach McDermott, we don't know what Brandon Beane are thinking here. And as I said in that video, I believe it was, in Beane we trust. And that's how, if you like Duke Williams, if you're a fan of Duke Williams, again, if you've been a fan of this channel, you know that. I haven't been. But if you're a fan of Duke Williams, you know that, maybe he'll get on somewhere else. You have to trust this coaching staff that they know what they are doing. 10 minutes into this video, guys, I'm going to calm down a little bit. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to be here with you for 2 hours, and that's nothing compared to starting next week. Of course, you have the live play-by-play reaction to every single Buffalo Bills game. So make sure if you haven't subscribed to Billievers Talk, you hit that subscribe button, as we're going to keep you updated. Let's say you have to work on Sundays. Let's say you want to watch the game, but you want to talk to Bills Mafia as well, instead of listening to, I believe we have the 5th CBS crew, James Lofton, next week. Let's say you want to talk to Bills Mafia. Again, guys, join the conversation right here on Billievers Talk. Not only will I keep you up to date, public, let's get Larry Fitzgerald. I don't think Arizona is cutting Larry Fitzgerald. I haven't heard such a thing. If that does happen, let's go after him. But again, I like our wide receiving room the way it is. Talk about Stephon Diggs, John Brown, Cole Beasley, Gabe Davis. If he's anything like he's being advertised, we got a steal in the draft, so I like him there. Isaiah McKenzie, Andre Roberts. I think we're going to keep 6 wide receivers. A lot of stuff going on right now. The Deshaun Watson just announced that he is going to get an extension for the Houston Texans. Maybe there's still time for us to get an extension for Tre'Davious White. We did hear rumors that there was an extension in place, but conversations stalled right before they get to a agreement. So maybe there's still time for that. Maybe there's still time for us to sign Tre'Davious White to a long-term deal. I would love that. Feels like we are going to go into the season with 7 wide receivers. Josh, who are your 7 wide receivers? If the Buffalo Bills keep 7 wide receivers, who are your 7? So here's who I got, right? Here's who I got. You let me know who you're adding. I got Stephon Diggs, right? Absolutely. John Brown, absolutely. Cole Beasley, absolutely. Gabe Davis, absolutely. Andre Roberts, absolutely. So those are my 5. Now, I have another guy in mind, but I want to know, who are your other 2? Or do you disagree with my 5? Those are the 5 that I think every Bills fan should have on their list. Those 5. Who's your 6th? You still have Isaiah McKenzie. You have the 2 Isaiahs, Isaiah McKenzie, Isaiah Hodgins, and you have who else you have? Robert Foster. So who else is on your list? The 2 Isaiahs, says Pierre Martinez. You keep both of them. I don't think we let go of Hodgins, says Josh Clark. I agree. My 6th would be Hodgins. I would say get rid of McKenzie and Foster. But if you're keeping 2, then you keep McKenzie, obviously, if you go into the season with 7 wide receivers. And obviously, you unfortunately get rid of Foster in that scenario. But still, I want to know your guys' opinion, obviously, on all of what's going on right now with the Buffalo Bills. Do they keep Reggie? Do they keep a / fullback in there, or do they not go into the season with a fullback at all? Remember, he did change his number to a tight end number, but he's still a slash position. He still plays tight end, and I've been saying that all off season. Why not, instead of keeping one fullback, bringing 4 tight ends? And whenever you need to run off an I set, I formation, offset I, whatever it is, you put one of those tight ends back there. Karen, good to see you in the stream. Hope that your brother's doing okay, as something just fell from the sky. So I don't know what that's about. If you see me leave, call the police. But glad to see you in here so far. Most of these cuts haven't really been all that surprising. If there was a surprise, who would it be? Some people are saying that the draft pick that we just picked up was a little bit of a surprise. Roberts, formerly from Carolina. I personally think the biggest surprise so far, but I'm with you, Karen, not that big of a surprise. I'm not shocked, was Jason Kroom. Again, I don't trust that tight end room. It's just me, I guess, but I don't trust Tyler Kroft. I don't trust Lee Smith. The only guy I trust a little bit is Dawson Knox, and now we don't even have Tommy Sweeney in there either. So it's just, what are they going to do at the tight end position? Robert Foster, he was good in his rookie season. He was good in the second half of his rookie season. And it's easier to look good on top of a pile of crap than it is when you actually have talent around you. Who was our number 1 wide receiver in 2018? Zay Jones, right? Zay Jones? He was our number 1. And listen, I like Zay Jones, but Zay Jones, when he was drafted, Zay Jones was meant to be a slot receiver. Zay Jones, that should be Zay Jones's role. He should not be a number 1 or number 2. He's meant to be a slot receiver. His size, his hands, his ability to make moves after a catch, that's where he belonged. For us to put him at number 1 was just unfair to him and unfair to Josh Allen, who was coming in as a rookie. So Robert Foster shines, because he was Josh Allen's only deep threat. So even though Josh Allen went 1 for 10 on deep balls, that one went to Robert Foster every single time, right? I remember watching the Jaguars game, right? I was at the Jaguars game when they had that long connection. So now you bring in the next year, you bring in, I have PTSD from watching that 2018 wide receiver group. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So then you bring in Cole Beasley. You bring in John Brown. Well, now Robert Foster isn't looking so hot. And he let that get to him in camp. Okay, there were reports during 2019's training camp the whole time, OTAs, about how Robert Foster didn't seem like he was giving 100%. Didn't seem like he was giving it his all. It seemed like he was slacking a little bit. So he obviously had the mindset that he was going to go into 2018 or 2019, I should say, as one of the Buffalo Bills' best receivers. Well, he wasn't. Not even close, because we bring in John Brown and Cole Beasley, and then all of a sudden he's on the roster bubble again. And he let it get to him, and then it just was downhill from there. Isaiah McKenzie, according to Matt Freno and Matthew Fairborn of on Twitter, sources say that Isaiah McKenzie has made the Bills' initial 53-man roster. So Joe linked to seeing who was cut so far. Hey, Scott, welcome to Believers Talk. Let's go through the whole day. Again, I've done 2 videos already, and that's why I decided to go live. And again, guys, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk for this live edition on cut day. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already, and share this video. But let's go through the full day, okay, for anyone who's just joining the scene, okay? So first today, we cut tight end Jason Kroom, which was a little bit of a surprise to me because, again, I don't trust that tight end room. And I thought Jason Kroom, coming off an injury with that cohesiveness they seemed to get towards the end of 2018 with Josh Allen, was going to be something special in 2020. Unfortunately, it's not going to be. We released Antonio Williams, running back. We got him as undrafted free agent at the end of the 2020 NFL draft from the University of North Carolina. Releasing Josh Thomas, safety, no surprise there. Rookie guard Marquel Harrell, we released him. Another, if you want to say it's been a surprise so far for anything for the Buffalo Bills today, yeah, Cam Lewis, cornerback, was released. And again, one of the reasons why that's a surprise, not necessarily just because of Cam Lewis's talent, although I like Cam Lewis. I think he's a good, talented cornerback. I can't wait to see him on our practice squad and possibly come up to the active roster sometime this season. But if the Buffalo Bills feel comfortable releasing Cam Lewis, then they must have some sort of comfortability with Josh Norman and Levi Wallace, who have been dinged up as of late. So they must feel comfortable that those guys are going to be ready to go come week 1, which makes us, as Bills fans, or should make us, very excited. Andre Smith, the guy that the Buffalo Bills just traded for that conditional 2023 Carolina Panthers draft pick. Apparently, we're not going to be giving that 2023 draft pick to him because we released him today as well. We released offensive tackle Trey Adams out of Washington, another undrafted free agent out of the 2020 NFL draft. We released Brandon Walton, offensive lineman. We released Duke Williams. Again, that might be a name people loved. That might be a surprise to people. But again, this wide receiving core is going to be deep this season. I'm excited about it. We just learned that we are going to keep Isaiah McKenzie, at least that's what sources are saying. So a lot of great news there. Tight end Nate Becker has also been released by the Buffalo Bills. So that's where we stand right now with the Buffalo Bills. And again, guys, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. Scott Blakely, always enjoy it. I appreciate you guys so much. So thank you for the $4.99 donation. And again, guys, if you want to use the super chat button, thank you, first of all, for everything that you guys do. But if you use the super chat, all proceeds go back into the channel. But like this video, share this video, let people know we're here. That's a huge help as well. Cam Lewis, a bit of a surprise, says Scott Blakely. But again, that's good news because that shows that our coaching staff thinks that at least Josh Norman or Levi Wallace will be ready to go week 1, if not both of them. So I'm excited about that. Jim Kelly was the best Bills quarterback, but was he good enough for his number being retired? In Buffalo, he was. Because when you talk about a player's number being retired, it's not just about stats. What does he mean to the city? Right? And with everything that Jim Kelly has been through since retirement, his son going through that terrible illness and then dying, right? You talk about the cancer that he's been through a few times, right? You talk about the battles that he's had in his life post-retirement, and where has he been? In Buffalo. Sharing the Buffalo love, Bill Strong, Kelly Tough, all that stuff going on. So when you look at Jim Kelly and you look at, now all that happened after his number was retired, but Jim Kelly means so much more to Buffalo, to this team, to the city, to this community, than just his numbers on the football field. And he had good numbers. You're talking about 4 straight AFC championships. You're talking about 4 straight Super Bowl appearances. No other quarterback in history has done that. So I think that Jim Kelly's number deserves to be retired. Same with Thurman Thomas. Same with Bruce Smith. We might see some more from that team soon. How many left to be cut? Last time I checked, and again, there have been some cuts since last time I checked, we were at 62, 63 men. So you're talking about somewhere around 10 men left to be cut by the Buffalo Bills. And again, I'm going through updates. I'm on Matt Perino's Twitter. Matthew Faraborn announces that McKenzie will make the roster. Pierre Martinez, any news on Murphy? What is your best bet on him? I think he's making this team. Thank you again for the $5 donation. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, I do think that Murphy will be making this team because, again, I think the longer we went without seeing Murphy being cut, the more likely he was to make this team. King Cam, glad to see you in here. You just saw Duke Williams was cut. And again, Pierre Martinez, thank you for the $5 super chat. Again, guys, I really do appreciate all that you guys do to support Believers Talk. Hit that thumbs up button. Share this video if you can. Let people know we're here for the next hour and a half talking about cut day. And then right after I'm done, go over to Matt Perino's YouTube page over for wherever he works for, I forget, but over there, and he will be able to keep you update after that because it's going to be a fun couple days. Remember, September 13th isn't that far away. The game against the Jets. We're going to be very excited. We're going to watch that together. And again, you can join the conversation. Yeah, we just got rid of King Cam. We did just release Duke Williams. Again, no surprise to me. I think that with this wide receiving core the way it is, drafting 2 wide receivers to me put the writing on the wall for Duke Williams. Every time we see Duke Williams in camp, he's always impressive, but just not enough. Just not enough with this impressive wide receiving core to stay on this team. We did just find out that reports are saying that Isaiah McKenzie is going to be on the 53-man roster. So, yeah, it's just crazy all that's going on. We did release Tanzel Smart as well. So that's another release that we just made for the Buffalo Bills. As I keep, Brian Cox Jr. was another cut that happened that I did not update you guys on initially. So that's another cut as well. So this thing's going on all the way to 4 o'clock. And again, like I said, we will make sure to keep you up to date on some other big cuts from around the league when they happen. Right now, that there are no huge surprises. But, man, there's a lot going on with this Buffalo Bills roster. Scott says, no, not Duke. Yeah, Duke's gone. Duke's gone. Again, with his skill set, I feel like we have some guys that fill that role. I do believe that Duke Williams is a better all-around wide receiver than, let's say, Andre Roberts, right? But Andre Roberts, you can't replace that special teams. You can't replace what he gives you on special teams. Talk about so many teams in the league have a special teams guy for punt return and kick return, right? They don't have one guy to do both. We have that luxury. We have that luxury of having one guy do both, and then we can use another roster spot to fill something else. So I think that's very important. I would have preferred to keep Duke over McKenzie. McKenzie, again, same thing. Special skill set, right? You talk about those jet sweeps that he runs. That's something that Duke Williams can't necessarily do. Now, I do understand. I would rather keep Isaiah McKenzie instead of Duke Williams from a skill set perspective, because remember, in the playoff game, Isaiah McKenzie was inactive. Duke Williams was active. So towards the end of the season, it seemed like Duke Williams was going to have a better shot to make this roster than, let's say, Isaiah McKenzie. But obviously the coaching staff, front office, they don't feel that same way. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Duke Williams is going to be on the practice squad. Maybe that's what they're hoping for. I think Duke Williams showed enough last season where a team should take a chance on him. Again, if you're a hurting team at the wide receiver position, San Fran, the Jets, the Chargers, I believe the Raiders, someone like that. You need a wide receiver. You need a complement wide receiver. Why not take a chance on Duke Williams? I think he'd be all right there. So I don't think he's going to make the practice squad, but I know some people are very upset to see him go. I'm not one of them. I mean, if you tell me at the end of last season, hey, you're going to get Stephon Diggs, Duke Williams won't be on the team, I'll take that trade. I'll take the trade off. Have those jet sweeps, right? They do add a different element that the defense has to be aware of. Not only do you have to look at the jet sweeps from last year that worked pretty well when Isaiah McKenzie did get the ball. Think about all the times he went into motion and it forced the defense to shift. What did that open up on the other side. So you don't just look at the jet sweeps that Isaiah McKenzie did run and ran pretty well. You take a look at the fact that, hey, when you run the jet sweep, it switches up the defense a little bit. The defense has to take notice to that. And what does it open up then on the other side? Not only that, Isaiah McKenzie might be able to help you in special teams if something does happen to Roberts during the season, and that might also be a contributing factor. So again, guys, thank you for joining me. Keep the comments coming. I'm loving it. I'll keep you up to date as we continue to hear about these roster cuts. I might even breathe in between sentences too, but no guarantees there. 2:30 on the East Coast. Teams have till 4 o'clock Eastern time until they need to make all the final cuts, until they need to have that 53-man roster all set. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Patriots pick up Duke, says Scott. Write it down. I've heard that a couple times today. And it wouldn't be the first time the Patriots picked up a Bills wide receiver that we were not interested in anymore. And that guy ended up looking pretty good. So we'll see what happens on that side. I'm surprised we cut 2 linebackers when we need depth. That's another thing that I'm wondering what's going on there as well. I do wonder what's going on with the linebacker position. Obviously, the coaching staff sees something we don't. Or Brandon Beane is still saying, listen, you still need to have a certain skill set to make this team, right? We're not just going to put you on the team because we need depth. Other teams are going to drop linebackers. And so if anybody, if anyone drops to the linebacker, same issue that we have at wide receiver, where we're going to be dropping great wide receivers, really good wide receivers that might not just be depth, might be able to be starters on another team. Some other teams might have that at linebacker, right? You think about the Ravens always having great linebackers. You think about the Panthers, we might get another linebacker from them because why not? You think about these teams that normally bring good linebackers, the Steelers, same thing. If they cut a linebacker, maybe we pick them up and see what we can do. Again, not saying that we're not going to pick up a linebacker down the road, not saying that we are, but that's always a possibility. Angry, hey, why didn't I get a notification? I don't know. McKenzie over Duke, yeah, absolutely. Breathing is for the weak, says Carson. Absolutely. I only breathe when I'm sleeping, and I'm only told that I'm breathing while I'm sleeping. I don't feel it physically myself, but I do hear that that's something that I do. I try to catch up in the 4 hours that I do sleep on my breathing techniques. So let me read some of these other comments. I think got through them all. So again, guys, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. If you're new to the channel, guys, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep you up to date. Not only are we keeping you up to date on cut day, we keep you up to date on every single free agent signing, keep you up to date during the season, give you live play-by-play and reaction. Now, I can't show the game due to copyright restrictions and yada, 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 and all that kind of stuff, but I give you live play-by-play and reaction. So let's say you're watching the game at home. You want to join the conversation with all these guys. Always have a good time. Scott, King Cam, Angry Buffalo Sports Fan. Always have a good time. So you want to make sure you join the conversation. And we'll talk about the Buffalo Bills. We'll talk about the games as they're going on. And I'll keep you up to date. So if you're at work, if you're not home, if you're in the car, wherever you're at, and you can't even watch the game, and you don't want to listen to it on the radio because, well, let's be honest, I'm better than they are at announcing the game, then you can turn into Believers Talk. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you haven't already hit that thumbs up button, what are you guys doing? Hit that thumbs up button. It really helps out this channel. Again, if you haven't shared this video, share this video. Why is Foster not announced as cut? Yeah, I don't know. I was talking to my wife about this. I mean, how does the coaching staff not know who's already cut, right? Like, coaching staff knows. Coaching staff knows who's cut. So just let them know. Give them a phone call and say, hey, sorry, man, you didn't make the team. Now, there's a lot of news going on Twitter around the fact that most teams, or due to the pandemic, players are not allowed in the locker rooms until Wednesday. So maybe they should have cutback day at last Wednesday. So that way these teams had time to prepare for week 1 if they were picked up by another team. But you can't really get into that speculation why they decided that. Some people believe that they purposely did that just to try to get these guys on the practice squad. So maybe Duke will find a place on the practice squad. Because remember, they did open up the practice squad to, I believe, 16 guys during this pandemic. And not only did they open up the practice squad, there are no limitations as far as how many years of service in the league and things like that. So none of that applies anymore. Maybe you store some guys on that practice squad that you normally wouldn't, that are talented enough to be part of this active roster, and you assume at some point they're going to be needed for the active roster during the season. So maybe that's why you have Duke on there. trying to get a trade for Foster before they cut him? Possibly. We all know that Brandon Beane loves to do that kind of stuff, loves to try to get 7th, 6th round draft picks late in the game for guys that they were going to cut anyway. You saw Carolina just do that with us, with Andre Smith, trying to get a 7th round pick from the Buffalo Bills for Andre Smith. So Matt Perino just texted out, the Bills have released defensive tackle Vincent Taylor. So defensive tackle Vincent Taylor, who had played some for the Buffalo Bills last season. So again, another guy who could be on the practice squad who can fill that role. But again, defensive tackle, a very deep position right now for the Buffalo Bills. Even without Star Latulippe, we have some very good defensive tackles on this team. You talk about Ed Oliver, talk about Harrison Phillips, talk about Quentin Jefferson, talk about Vernon Butler. Some very good defensive tackles. I think our offensive line is going to be very solid, if not better than solid this season. Jerry Hughes, I want to see him step up possibly and make some big noise as at the defensive end position. Maybe do what he did 2 years ago, get a few more sacks. Obviously, everyone's talking about Trent Murphy. The Bills have released defensive tackle Vincent Taylor. That's what's going on Twitter right now. So that is what everyone's talking about. Again, not a surprise for me. Again, maybe a depth guy if you want to talk about that. But Vincent Taylor is also a guy that might not make it through waivers. Because if you're a team that's having issues at defensive tackle and not even depth, Vincent Taylor didn't just play for the Bills last year. He played pretty decently when he did. So I'm not saying he's as good as the guys that we have. Obviously not. That's why the Buffalo Bills are releasing Vincent Taylor. But he's a pretty good defensive tackle. You know, he's proven himself in the league to be a pretty solid defensive tackle, especially at run stopping. So I would not be surprised to see a team pick up a Vincent Taylor on the side. I heard he also had a good camp this year. He did. Every word I heard about Vincent Taylor this year was good. It's just when you have these many defensive tackles, it comes tough. So I did just get this update from Score Mobile. So let me read it to you guys as I'm reading it. The Bills are seeking a trade for Robert Foster, likely to cut wide receiver barring a move before the 4 o'clock deadline. So that's exactly what's going on. So I don't know who said that. Angry Buffalo sports fan said it first. So I'll give him the credit. That's the first one I see. But Andre Roberts, the Buffalo Bills are trying to seek a trade for Andre Roberts. That's according to Matthew Fairburn. According to a source, the Buffalo Bills are trying to trade wide receiver Robert Foster before the 4 p.m. deadline, roster cut down deadline. If they can't move him, he will likely be cut. So same thing. Will the Buffalo Bills get a 2023 conditional 7th round draft pick? Except for this time, you better be sure Robert Foster is gonna make your squad, because why would you trade for him this late in the game? But if you're trading Robert Foster, why don't you try to trade Duke Williams? Why don't you try to trade because I don't know, you guys can disagree with me if you want, but Duke Williams and King Cam just said Duke over Foster McKenzie, in my opinion. Pierre got his comment in first. So, okay, thank you for Pierre Martinez for giving us that. And thank you, Angry Buffs, for being honest. I like the honesty. But yeah, I think Duke is better than Foster. So why aren't you trying to trade Duke instead of, because you're trying to stash him on your practice squad? That's why. You want to keep Duke if you can. You don't care if Foster gets traded. You want to keep Duke Williams. So that's why you do it. And don't think I was setting you up. It just came to me as I was talking about it. So that's why Duke is much better than Foster. But don't you want to keep Duke on your practice squad if you can? If he makes it through waivers, and I don't think he will. I don't think Duke Williams will make it through waivers. But if he makes it through waivers, don't you want him to be on your practice squad? Robert Foster, he makes it through waivers. What Brandon Beane is saying is, you can make it through waivers. We're not taking you back. You're not going to be on the practice squad. So we'll see what happens. The coaches might have faith in the rookies that they will be able to fill Duke's role. And again, I think they have faith in this wide receiving core. But again, they're saying something by not looking for a trade for Duke Williams. They're saying, hey, we want you. Don't think we don't want you. We want you. But you're our 7th wide receiver. You're our 7th. We'll need you throughout the season. So we need you to contribute. We need you to practice. We need you to do well. You know, we used Duke Williams in 4 games last season during the season? He had the game-winning touchdown against the Tennessee Titans. So he had a big role in our year last year. Talk about the game against Tennessee. Talk about the game against the Redskins. Talk about the game against the Eagles. Talk about the game against the Jets. Talk about the game, of course, the playoff game against Houston. He did drop a touchdown pass, but he had a lot of good plays in that game as well. So we'll need him if he makes it to our practice squad. but they're just saying we like these 6 better. And that's okay. That's okay. You're still going to be needed. You're still going to be used. You still have time to work your way up the depth chart as well. Work your way up. Show them that you're better than Isaiah Hodgins. Show them that you are better than Isaiah McKenzie. You know, there's a reason why they're not looking to trade Duke Williams, but they are looking to trade Robert Foster. I think they will keep 7 wide receivers, so Duke may have been the 8th in their minds. Well, if they're keeping 7 because of McKenzie and Hodgins, then yeah, they would be keeping 7. Duke did get cut, Sonny. Welcome to Believers Talk. Good morning from Alaska. Glad to see you here. Yeah, it's still morning in Alaska. Hey, let's go, Buffalo. Hard decisions for being absolutely. Yeah, Duke did get cut, Sonny. Some big cuts. Cam Lewis got cut. That's another big one. Jason Kroom. Those are the 3 highlighted cuts. If I had to highlight cuts so far today, those would be the 3 that I would highlight. Nate Becker, tight end, he also got cut. So you look at our tight end room, it's pretty much set at this point. You talk about Lee Smith, you talk about Tyler Croft, you talk about Dawson Knox. Those are your 3 tight ends. Obviously, Reggie is a fullback / tight end, so you can add him in the tight end room too if you want. But yeah, spin. You are correct. There is a waiver order. But Duke, we cannot pick up Duke in waivers because that's pointless. If you pick up someone in waivers, they have to be on your 53-man roster. So we would not go after Duke. Sweeney is put on the PUP list. So Sweeney is not on the 53-man roster. But yeah, Spin, you were asking a question for Carson, so thank you for that. But yeah, so there is an order, kind of the way the draft works, right? I don't know if the order is the same, but let's say the Bengals had the first pick, have the first order in waivers. The moment they pick someone up, they go back to 32. So it's kind of like a revolving thing. But there is an order to it. But again, the Buffalo Bills can't pick up Duke Williams in waivers because if you pick up a player in waivers, they have to be on your 53-man roster. If they're not on your 53-man roster, then you can put them on my practice squad. Then Buffalo would have the first right to put them on their practice squad. Sweeney did not make it, Scott. Like I said, yeah, he was on the PUP list. There was talk yesterday of him being removed from PUP list, being on the active roster, but then there was fears of him being released, so they kept him on the PUP list, and that's where he will remain for the season. Just like Patrick DeMarco, I think that means his season is done. Let me see how many players we're currently at, if we have an update on that. But again, if you're just joining me, I think PUP is different, says Spin. I'm not sure how it all works. I don't know. I think PUP might be the first 8 games of the season, right? Something like that. Mid-season, yep. So see, Spin, same page, Spin. Thank you. It's weird. It doesn't feel like football season yet because there's no preseason to hype up the fans. Like I said last Thursday on my last preseason live stream, last Thursday was supposed to be the last preseason game. But like you said, absolutely right. There's been no preseason. Nothing to really get us excited for the season to come other than like hype videos on YouTube and things like that. So it does feel like it's coming up a little fast, but here we are. It's coming. Whether you want it to come or not, whether you want this locomotive train to come or not, it's coming. So this week, guys, make sure you stay tuned to YouTube. I'll give my predictions for the Buffalo Bills, for around the league, for the playoffs. I'll do all that kind of stuff. I will give you on Wednesday, I'll give you my picks for the week 1. I'll say who I have winning straight up, who I have winning against the spread, just like we did last year. I'll keep track of my records. If you guys want to leave comments in the comment section of those videos and want me to keep track of your record, I'll do that as well. Hopefully I do better than last season. Last year, I think I did barely over 50%. Straight up and under 50% against the spread. So hopefully I do better. But that's why I try not to bet too much when it comes to Vegas. Can't wait for the Bills to smack the Jets. I would love, again, I've said this before and I'll keep saying it. I would love for that game against the Jets to be a statement win, right? I don't know if it's going to happen because you know offenses normally struggle in the first few games of the season, but I would love to see that be a statement game. Let's shut them out. Let's win 17-24-0, right? That'd be awesome to see. Keenan Allen signed an extension today, so that's some NFL news. Again, Deshaun Watson sources announced that he is going to sign an extension as well. So there is still time for Tre'Davious White maybe to sign an extension. 4 years, $160 million extension for Deshaun Watson. Not quite Mahomes money, but man, it's going to be crazy. The Bills are going to smoke the Jets. Predicting score 42-6. Sonny, I would love for us to put up 42 points. don't see that happening. But if we do, then I think that puts the league on notice that the Buffalo Bills are legitimate contenders for that AFC crown. If the Buffalo Bills beat the Jets 42-6, I would love to see that. I just think that's going to be a tough one. Who's been cut so far? Asked Tom O'Sullivan. First of all, Tom, welcome to Billievers Talk. So if you're just looking at like a pretty much a snapshot, so Duke Williams has been cut. You have Jason Kroom has been cut. Cam Lewis has been cut. Andre Smith, the guy that we just picked up in a trade for the Carolina Panthers, has been cut. So those are some of the cuts. Isaiah McKenzie, it's been reported that Isaiah McKenzie will be on this team. Our most recent cut was Vincent Taylor, defensive tackle. Tenzel Smart has been cut. Brian Cox Jr. has been cut. Nate Becker has been cut. Like I said, Duke Williams. Brandon Walton has been cut. Trey Adams has been cut. Andre Smith, Cam Lewis, Marquel Harrell has been cut. Josh Thomas has been cut. Antonio Williams, running back UNC, has been cut. Jason Kroom. So that has been what's been going on today. Been a crazy day for the Buffalo Bills. I did a video on the first 7 guys that have been cut. 2 separate videos, one on Jason Kroom and Williams, and then the other 5 guys I did a video on them as well. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. Shame to see Duke go. Tom, we talked about this. And the reason, so right now the report is that the Buffalo Bills are seeking a trade for Robert Foster. So it looks like Duke will be, they're trying to get Duke to go through waivers so they can have him added to the practice squad once again. I heard Cox, when cut, walked out and gave a finger. Yeah, I would believe that. Knowing what his father did. Again, you can't really blame him for what his father did, and it's a shame he didn't make the team. Again, if you make the team, then I trust that the coaching staff knows what they're doing. But he'll probably catch on somewhere again, just like some of these other guys. Well, unfortunately, especially for these undrafted free agents, the guys who came out in 2020. Unfortunate time of year for them because they didn't have any preseason, right? They did not have any preseason games to kind of show what they can do, right? Show what kind of talent they have against other offensive weapons or other NFL teams. And so they don't have tape to show other teams. So even if they get cut, other teams might not want to take a chance on those guys. It's going to be problems for the league. Now, the good news for us, if you're a Bills fan, is, I mean, they have Julian Edelman. That's it. And Julian Edelman plays a specific type of role in an offense that Cam Newton needs to be aware of, right? I don't think Julian Edelman would have done as good if he wasn't playing for either A, Tom Brady, or B, Peyton Manning pretty much his whole career. I think that other quarterbacks don't understand what his skill set is. They want to look for, I don't think Julian Edelman would do well in a Josh Allen run system. Josh Allen looking for that home run ball. Am I gone? Okay, Scott, I was like, what? What are you talking about? But I think that Julian Edelman is specific to the quarterback. He needs a quarterback that understands his skill set in order for him to do well. But what does New England have? What are New England's weapons there? And we just saw they did get rid of Miller. That was a surprise cut earlier. So Lamar Miller, the New England Patriots did cut him. So there's a lot of things going on right now for the Buffalo Bills. Again, let me go through the names. Duke Williams cut, Boshawn Joseph cut, Andre Smith cut, Corey Thompson has been cut. That was yesterday, actually. Jason Kroom, Cam Lewis, Trey Adams, just a few of the names. I'm going through some of the other teams here to see what other names have been available. I see Caro Santos of the Bears was released. Guys, can we ask for a good puncher to be released and just get rid of Borges? Like right now, he is the only puncher on this team, so we have to keep him, I guess. Ryan Talbert just tweeted out, per source, tight end / fullback Reggie Gilliam has made the 53-man roster. So with there being no DeMarco, right? DeMarco, unfortunately, gets that neck injury, is out for the season. So no Patrick DeMarco. So now Reggie Gilliam has made the 53-man roster for the Buffalo Bills. But yeah, Scott, like, can we just get a new punter? I'm sick and tired of Borges ruining what could be a good season in my mind. Like, I mean, I just look at him. Like, I look down a roster, I'm excited. I get to special teams, I see Tyler Bass. I'm like, that's fine. That's a great rookie kicker. And then I see Corey Borges. I'm just like, damn. Let's not punt. Let's just release him and hope we don't punt. I just don't know. I just don't know. That's the one guy that I'm just like, why is he even here? But Again, obviously the coaching staff sees more in him than any other punter that's come their way. They should have drafted They should have drafted a punter. If they would have drafted a punter in the 5th round over Jake Fromm, would we have cared anymore that Jake Fromm wasn't on this team? And let's say Jake Fromm doesn't even make this 53-man roster. What's it matter? What's it matter? Even if you picked up, who else would pick up in the 5th round? Tyler Bass, right? So you pick up a punter and a kicker in the same round. I mean, people would have called you nuts, but at the same time, if it's what you need, it's what you need. The Rams got rid of 2 kickers today. I didn't even know that was possible. Is he making the 53, do I think? No, I think Webb's making it. You have a competition there for the 3rd quarterback position between Webb and Fromm. I think it's going to be going to Webb. Yeah, he'll be on the practice squad. But yeah, I agree with Scott. I agree with Spin. I mean, why we don't draft a punter in that situation is just unreal to me. But that's what they decided to do. It's not nuts if you draft a kicker or a punter if they stay on your team. Absolutely no, I completely agree. If Tyler Bass can stay on this team for 10 years, that's why we chose him over Stephen Hauschka. And guys, I do want to remind you, Tyler Bass is going to go through his growing pains. You know, in the video that I did asking if the Bills made the right choice, you know, I used Sebastian Janikowski, who in my mind is one of the best 2 kickers since I started watching football regularly. It's either him or the guy who always won in New England. But anyway, he went 50% his first full season in the league. His first year in the league with the Raiders, he went 13 of 26 on field goals. So Tyler Bass is going to have some growing pains, but we have to stick with them. Hopefully the fact that there are no fans in the stands or, you know, less fans in the stands will mean that there's less pressure, but we do have to stick with him. Special teams in general affects the game more than most people think. We've seen the Buffalo Bills spend a lot of time on special teams this season, and hopefully it comes to fruition, and hopefully we can see how well we could do. I'm still looking through other teams, seeing who they cut, seeing who some of the surprise cuts are. Nothing's jumping out at me right now. Shaquem Griffin was released, linebacker from the Seahawks. So, you know, we know we're talking about depth for the Buffalo Bills at the linebacker position. Would you look at Shaquem Griffin? That's not the one. I believe it's the brother of the guy who has the one hand. I don't think it was him who has the one hand. But looking at the linebacker position, looking for a punter, and just looking for anything. Obviously, there are positions here like running back. We don't need running back. Cale Garrett from the Tennessee Titans linebacker, he was released. Adrian Peterson was released. And listen, the Bills will not go after Adrian Peterson, I don't think. But man, that surprised me. So do you think Adrian Peterson's done in the NFL? Type yes or no in the comment section. Do you think Adrian Peterson will sign with the team this season, or do you think he is done in the NFL? Josh Rosen did get cut a few days ago, and I know some people still think he just got the wrong deal, right? Arizona's first year, not that great of a situation, gets, you know, kicked out because they get a new head coach. And then Miami, the second year. Matt Perino just posts linebacker Delshell Phillips has made the 53-man roster. So as we're talking about linebacker depth, the Buffalo Bills say, hey, you want depth? We're going to keep linebacker Delshell Phillips has made the 53-man roster. Rosen's story is nuts. What would even be more nuts is if Rosen goes somewhere else and catches fire, right? Now, wouldn't that be nuts? If someone signs Josh Rosen and he catches fire somewhere and becomes like a decent starter in the NFL, I think that would be I mean, I would hate to hear Bills fans who wanted Josh Rosen, because listen, no matter what Josh Rosen does from here on out, I was originally a Josh Rosen guy. Sports Fury, listen up, everybody. If you're not following Sports Fury, first of all, do it. But Sports Fury, huge accomplishment just yesterday, live during the Lakers game. How about Houston, right? Sports Fury didn't see that one coming. But during the Lakers game, hitting 100,000 subscribers. Guys, Sports Fury, one of the 2 YouTube channels who really helped me out when I was first starting. So guys, first of all, I appreciate it. Always appreciate the love, and congratulations for hitting that milestone. Just you guys have been awesome the whole less than 4 years into it, if I remember correctly. You guys have been amazing, and it's always fun to watch you guys. I'm not commenting as much because, you know, I'm going nuts with a 2-year-old and doing my own thing here on Billievers Talk, but I'm still watching, and you guys still do a great job keeping it real. But again, guys, if you're not, go over there. Thank you. I really do appreciate Sports Fury. But yeah, guys, good content over there. You guys keep up the great work too. And while you guys are going live, listen, we'll have a fun back and forth battle because I know you guys will be live during that Kansas City Buffalo Bills game during Thursday Night Football. I'll be probably going live as well. So maybe after the Bills win that one, I'll hop over to your guys' channel and and say some stuff, But you guys have, I don't know how many Kansas City Chiefs fans you have watching, but I'm guessing 100,000 subscribers. You have quite a few. But I'll be in there at some point throughout that game just to talk some crap, because why not? And hey, I said this 2 years ago and I still mean it. Whenever you guys get a chance to come up for a Bills game, obviously this year is out, but whenever you guys have a chance to come up for a Bills game, you let me know. I'll meet you there. First round's on me, both wings and beer. I'll share what good wings are, and we'll have a good time. So again, thank you guys. We're talking about the cuts for the Buffalo Bills. And again, Sports Fury, thank you for joining me. Always good to see you on here. No doubt about it, we are definitely going to get together when we get out there. Yeah, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. So let's look to see if there have been any more cuts. Currently close to 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Buffalo Bills still sitting at 59 men, maybe 60 men on the roster. Still got a few cutdowns to make. Again, we know they're going to trade Robert Foster, so we might not hear that he's been cut until that 4 o'clock p.m. deadline because they're looking to see if they can find a potential taker, get a 7th round pick, something like that for Robert Foster before the deadline. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. I feel like if it would have happened, it would have happened already, right? You should have been shopping Robert Foster 2-3 days ago. But here we are. Maybe they're hearing some interest. Maybe Brandon Beane's trying to work out a deal, get the price up a little bit, maybe get a 6th rounder instead of a 7th rounder, or maybe get a 2021 conditional pick instead of a 2023 conditional pick, because those things matter. Believe it or not, when it comes to salary cap, when it comes to roster picks, those things matter. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Still in the first hour here while we talk about the NFL draft, NFL cut day. I said I'd be going live at 3. So if you guys have been watching the content throughout the week, you might just be joining in and saying, wait, didn't this guy say 3 o'clock? Listen, I made 2 videos earlier this morning, and I was like, why am I constantly trying to keep up and make videos? And then by the time I make 1 video, there's more cuts, yada, yada. Just go live the whole 2 hours. It'll be like a preseason debut for me, because again, starting next week, we do the Buffalo Bills live play-by-play, right? We're going to do Buffalo Bills games every single Sunday, either myself or the guys who are at #sports. So do 2 hours today, get the vote cords ready. I'm not like the Sports Fury who gives live streams every single week, goes nuts, whether it be basketball, whether it be football, they go nuts. So 1 week, guys, CR, 1 week away. I'm so excited. So the Sports Fury guys, Josh and Sean, they got their vote cords ready to go whenever they need it. Me, I take the off season off. So I take the off season now. I need to maybe rush my M&Ms, do that kind of vocal, gargle some water, things like that. Jaguars are cutting Mike Glennon. Meh. Trevor Siemian is being cut again. This time by the Titans. I forget where Trevor Siemian is half the time. And SCR comes in and says 1 week wait. Again, guys, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. My name is Joe. If you're new to this channel, you haven't been here yet, my name is Joe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys. We're going to keep you up to date on all Buffalo Bills news. While you're here, hit that thumbs up button, guys. 31 people in this chat room. I thank every single one of you. And if you have a chance to share this video on social media, those social media things that people go on all the time, share this video. Let people know we're here as we get another notification, it looks like. Still talking about Del'Shawn Phillips. Del'Shawn Phillips, again, has made the team. So that is the newest announcement by the Buffalo Bills. And like I said, I'm on the webs. I'm on a bunch of websites here trying to get the latest news. I got my phone in my hand, making sure to give you guys the latest and breaking news when it comes to the Buffalo Bills and who's going to make that 53-man roster. There's still some questions out there. Will we get a trade for Robert Foster? Who's going to make this team? Jake from State Farm, or will it be Webb, who makes that QB3 position for the Buffalo Bills? Will we keep Isaiah Hodgins, or will we not? Reports already say that we're going to keep Isaiah McKenzie. If we keep Hodgins, then you have to imagine the Bills are going to keep 7 wide receivers. Or do we think, thank you, CR, absolutely smash that like button, guys. Or do we release Hodgins and try to get him on the practice squad. Because remember, not too many people have seen too much about Hodgins. So will a team take a chance on a rookie that the Buffalo Bills picked up in the 6th or 7th round? I forget off the top of my head. I think it was 6th round. Will another team try to take a chance when the Buffalo Bills, or if the Buffalo Bills release him? Those are all questions they have to ask yourself if you are a GM. And they might even think, hey, listen, Duke Williams is our 4th best wide receiver, but we have a better chance of having him land the practice squad than Gabe Davis, right? Because everything you hear about Gabe Davis is he's elite, or he can be one of the steals of the NFL draft. So again, we're going to see what happens. 1 hour away now as it hits 3 o'clock on the Eastern Coast. So we are 1 hour away from when it needs to be 53 men. And again, guys, as soon as I'm done, I'll stay on maybe a little past 4, close things out so we have our 53-man roster. But as soon as I'm done, head over to Matt Perino's YouTube channel for New York State. New York Up. I think it's NewYorkUp.com. Man, go over there. He's going to be live at 4 o'clock. So if you can't get enough Buffalo Bills news, because no one can, and listen, Matt Perino, one of the best at doing it. So make sure you, if you're not following him on Twitter, follow him on Twitter. And tell him that Billievers Talk sent you. Tell him that you talked him up his whole live stream. So that way he knows that we're showing the Buffalo love right here on Billievers Talk to everyone who does Buffalo Bills or other YouTube content. These YouTube sports creators that do a great job. You know, just talking sports for you a little bit earlier, who came by to say hey. But there's so many of them. You know, Tom Grossi, who is a Packers fan, does the podcast. He just hit 100,000 subscribers. You know, you talk about Louis T, the Redskins, does some NFL work as well with all over the NFL. Like, I could go on. And of course, we talk about the great YouTube creators here in Bills Mafia. You talk about Buffalo Fanatics, you talk about Cover One, you talk about Dan Mitchell, you talk about Hashtag Sports, you talk about all the great guys here that we have for Bills Mafia as well. It's just, it goes on and on and on, and it's just awesome to see the community come together. I think Matt calls it Shout Now. Yeah, that's the podcast, right? Shout. They started that during the off season. That's doing well as well. But yeah, they do a great job. So make sure you check them out. But here we are, 3 o'clock. Again, I'm watching NFL Network, seeing what's going on there. Again, I'm not only going to keep you updated on Buffalo Bills cuts. If I see any surprising cuts, hey, Buff Hub, how you doing? Speaking of great content creators in the Buffalo area, Buff Hub guys does a great job as well. We do plan on doing, we've done some collabs already together, and we do plan on doing some more for you guys. So make sure you check those out. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And by the way, congratulations. I haven't had a chance to formally say that, so congratulations. You know why. If you want to share that in the stream, great. If not, that's fine too, but congratulations. But I gotta say, Cover One is some sort of football savant. Listen, he's amazing, right? They're amazing. They really are. And I don't take offense. I really don't take offense when someone says, hey, you know, you do great, but, you know, I mean, I don't know, because I'm watching them too. Like, I'm watching them too. And this is something I don't think people always understand. I don't rewatch my stuff. By the end of this stream, you know, I'm gonna go up to my wife and be like, how'd it go? Like, I think it went well. I don't remember. I don't remember what I said. I don't remember what I did. I remember drinking some vodka or water or whatever I have on me and forgetting things. But I watch Cover One. I watch Hashtag. I watch Dan. I watch Buffalo. I watch them all because, you know, you get different. Buff Hub. I listen to Buff Hub. Like, Baby Noah. That's awesome, buddy. That's awesome. Really great. We're having to, yeah, we are so lucky because, you know, they have different perspectives, and I appreciate and respect everyone's perspective, not just in life, but when it comes to Buffalo Bills football, because you need to be open about, you know, things. And speaking of that, I got an update. Hold on. Nope. Hold on. Let me see. I got an update on my phone. You know, I feel like, you know how like on Black Monday, I see this a lot on Black Monday, the day after football season ends, when it comes to coaches and stuff like that. Yeah, Reggie Gilliam has made the 53-man roster. Reggie Gilliam just posted "Let's work." So now that he's officially on the team, I'm gonna make sure that we follow Reggie Gilliam so we get to see what he's up to. Maybe try to invite him onto the stream sometime. In fact, let's do that right now. Why not? What's like I say? No, right? And you know, I can't do two things at once. So while I'm talking to him, you know, I can't talk to you. That's impossible, right? So. But anyhow, guys, yeah, it's just really great news to see these guys who've been working so hard. You know, this is a good thing. Man, I feel like Black Monday, I see this a lot when you would see like Adam Schefter or someone, and I know some people compare me to Adam Schefter of the Buffalo Bills, but like looking at their phone while they're on SportsCenter, because you just never know when update's going to happen. So again, the Buffalo Bills do announce that Reggie Gilliam is going to make this team, and he's going to be a good slash. Right now, a lot of people might see him as a tight end, but he has worked fullback. So we talk about not having Patrick DeMarco back there. When we talk about, first of all, when you have to talk about when you talk about having a guy like Zach Moss, he can block pretty good too. But when you have a guy like Reggie Gilliam in there, you have a guy who's going to work hard, who can play that fullback position, who can block really well, both at the tight end slot and at the fullback slot. I think that's a great addition to this Buffalo Bills team. So very excited. Again, if you're just joining me, if you're waking up in Alaska or something like that, the big cuts for the Buffalo Bills right now, this morning, Jason Kroom got cut. Duke Williams earlier this afternoon, he got cut. Cam Lewis, he got cut, cornerback formerly from the University of Buffalo. All guys that you would expect to see on the practice squad. Trey Adams was an offensive tackle that we picked up as an undrafted free agent. That was very excited to get personally. He was cut. So, yeah, Cut Number One has the most comprehensive breakdowns of plays. They do, and it goes both on the YouTube channel and on their Twitter page. They do a great job all the way around. But we're waiting for more news. Again, we have some questions as far as who's making this roster. Again, Jake from State Farm, I should say, or Lewis. You have some questions about the wide receivers still. You have some questions about, Christian Wade, things like that. And thank you, Buff Hub, for I see that you shared it on Twitter as well. I appreciate that as we continue to watch for Cut Down Day, continue to watch things. Hashtag just posted out about Gilliam, 18 receptions in 3 seasons, 2 career rushes for 1 yard. Those looking to argue of his dual threat capabilities. I mean, it is what it is. I think the coaching staff knows more than we do about what fits this team. So that's why, even though you can be surprised about some of these things, at the same time, you have trust. I hate the fact that Corey Borges is still on this team. I hate the fact that Corey Borges is still on this team. I mean, that's the one thing I can't stand right now. But you gotta trust the coaching staff. Just subscribe, Buff Hub. Hey, that's awesome. Yeah, he does a good job as well over there. So make sure you kept every Saturday on Buffalo Rumblings, and then again some more great content. So continue to keep you guys up to date. Again, looking at the overall who's been cut, things like that. Again, Adrian Peterson is a shock to many. He was cut the other day. Trevor Siemian's been cut by like 30 teams so far in the NFL. Let me see. Anthony Gordon, like Shaquan Griffin, like I said, that's someone the Buffalo Bills might want to look at. That's someone who has played minutes for the Seattle Seahawks. He has played on active roster, so that's someone. If you're looking for linebacker depth, you just announced that Phillips will make this team. Maybe that's another guy you can look at as far as depth for the Buffalo Bills. That's always something to look at. I'm looking at maybe the tight end position as well, seeing what's available out there. Because again, guys, I'm not fully committed to the tight end room. I just don't like it as much as others seem to, and that might just be me. But again, the only guy I feel like I could trust on a consistent basis in that room, or at least a half consistent basis, is Dawson Knox, right? Dawson Knox is the only guy that I can look at and say, yeah, if we had a pinch, yeah, you want to go to him. Tyler Kroft, right, had that big touchdown against the Steelers, but he was out some of the season due to a foot injury. We've already heard that he's missed some of training camp because someone stepped on his foot. I mean, I hope when people step on his feet, it's not as simple as, oh, someone stepped on his foot, well, then he's out. Borquez could be a Pro Bowler if he could just be consistent. But every time he kicks, it's like Russian roulette. Could be a great kick, could be a 15 yards kick. And when you talk about the wind in Buffalo, it's funny. Actually, I went to the Eagles game last year, and the wind was whirling in Buffalo, and his first punt was absolutely amazing. It was supposedly against the wind. It was absolutely amazing. And then every punt after that, it just got worse and worse and worse. And it was just a shame. I said, Sam, out of the tight end room, he's the most consistent. Yeah, I will say that. Yeah, out of the tight end room we have, Lee Smith, Tyler Kroft, and now Dawson Knox. He's the most consistent. And if you want to say Reggie Gilliam, he is the most consistent out of those 4. And that's my problem. What you're bringing up is my problem. He's the most consistent out of those four, and he is not consistent. At least his rookie year, he was not consistent. So, and that's who our most consistent guy is right now. So that's who we have to trust. If we have to trust one guy in the tight end room right now, who are you trusting? If it's not Sam, are you trusting Knox? Or are you trusting Tyler Kroft? Because I'm not trusting him to even get on the field. Are you trusting Lee Smith to not get a penalty? I mean, who are you trusting if it's not Dawson Knox? What about Kroft? Let me see Kroft. 1 touchdown last year on a bootleg against the Steelers. You sign him to a 2-year deal, comes in. He has, a great game to get us into the playoffs when he was playing for Cincinnati. I can't trust him to be on the field. Borges could be a Pro Bowl if he learned how to punt. I want to say I like Kroft. I want Kroft to be available. The best ability is availability. And right now, Tyler Kroft doesn't promote that. He missed training camp because someone stepped on his foot. Listen, I've had people step on my foot with cleats. I understand. It hurts. But you're missing time? He showed some promise, and since he did. But how many years ago was that now? 3 years ago? How long do we wait on promise, right? How long do you wait on promise? And that's a good debate question, right? Robert Foster showed promise 2 years ago when he was with the Bills in 2018. Do you want to keep him? I don't. I feel like he's run his course in Buffalo. I wish him the best of luck. Hopefully he moves on somewhere else. Let's see if Knox gets rid of his dropsies. I hope so too. And you want to talk about, remember how oh my gosh, why can't I remember names right now? But remember, Zach Moss was talking about people making business decisions when they wanted to tackle him. Well, I feel like if Knox is making more catches, people are going to have to make those same type of business decisions. I remember that Cincinnati game. I know you guys remember that Cincinnati game, just bowling over people after you caught that pass. So, yeah, we're going to have to keep watching that. I hope Knox continues to improve. And remember, he came from a system at Ole Miss that did not quite run the same offense that the Bills do. And remember, when he was with the Ole Miss, he didn't get that many targets because they had great wide receivers at Ole Miss. What's my take on Del'Shawn Phillips? I think Del'Shawn Phillips is a good depth guy, right? I think that when you bring in a Del'Shawn Phillips, you talk about a guy, we need a guy who will back up Matt Milano. I mean, if he gets injured, Matt Milano has shown a history of getting injured for the Buffalo Bills. So when I think about Del'Shawn Phillips, haven't heard much about him in camp, right? I'm not going to try to do. I'm going to try to do my best Mel Kiper Jr. impression, but I haven't heard much about him out of camp. First season in the league, so you don't know exactly what you're going to have there. But you hope that this is the type of signing that you hope that the coaching staff knows what they're talking about when it comes to depth at that linebacker position. Again, I still think we need depth at linebacker. That's my opinion. But that's not even saying we need to get rid of Del'Shawn. I just think that we need to continue to add depth. Knox has such an upside. He's a beast. Absolutely. What's the draw to him over Thompson, who knows the system? Younger, right? Younger guy. I'm going to look him up a little bit here since, again, you haven't heard much about him in camp. Let's see how he's done in the college ranks as well. Del'Shawn Phillips. College stats. There we go. Played at Illinois. Linebacker, 6'2", about right size for a linebacker. 2 seasons, it looks like, in the Big Ten. This is his last game in Illinois has been 2017. So let me do some more research. No, 2018. There it is. Yeah, okay. 2 seasons in the NFL, played in, what am I looking at? 180 total tackles, 10 sacks. Yeah, I mean, that's someone that you want on your team. If you can, if he's outplayed, he's outplayed. That's all. 10 tackles for a loss. I'm sorry, 2.5 sacks, 4 interceptions in 2018. So yeah, I mean, obviously, coaching staff sees something in him. Again, that's that guy I know much about. You talk about Thompson having some familiarity with the system, but the coaching staff sees it differently, and that's fine. 3:13 on the East Coast. Give me a second here. The Bills have waived quarterback Davis Webb, so that means they intend to re-sign him to the practice squad, of course, if he clears waivers, just like everybody else. So we have waived Davis Webb. All right, so Deshaun Phillips arrived in Buffalo last year on the practice squad player. He spent over 10 months with the Bills. So he was with the Bills last year, according to Matt Perino. So that's something you have to keep in mind as well. So the Bills have waived Webb. We talk about the 49ers needing wide receiver. There's rumors there between Foster going to the Niners. So that's the big story right now. If you're just joining us, the Buffalo Bills have waived quarterback Davis Webb. Team intends to re-sign Webb to the practice squad if he clears waivers. Obviously, that's what we're hearing a lot of, right? A lot of this, they plan to, are we keeping 3 quarterbacks this season? I don't know, right? If you have Webb on the practice squad, do you need to keep a third? That's a good question. That's a great question. But why happens to Jake Fromm then? Phillips had a 4.59 40 time at his pro day, says Phil. What could we have even net from Foster, a 6th in 2023? But that's an extra 6th in 2023. You're right. We're not going to get much. We're not going to get much for Foster. But if we get something, and that could be what's going on right now. The Bills could have a 7th lined up with the 49ers right now, but they're like, well, if this team needs more, let's give them a call and say, hey, we got 7th from the Niners. We're going to take it unless you want more. Which I can't believe people would get a bidding war for Roberts, for Robert Foster, a 10th in 1980 to Scott. In 1980, they had 10 rounds, right? So you could get a 10th. You could get a 23rd round pick in 1980. Some more tweets. Nope, that's the same one. They've waived Davis Webb. So does that mean we're keeping Jake Fromm? What do you guys think about cutting David Webb? Would you have chose, and I'm not saying this is going to happen because we could cut Jake Fromm too, but would you have chose Fromm over Webb? Giving a choice, would you have chosen Fromm or Webb? Let me know in the comment section. You hear the hype about cutting Andre Roberts. I did not hear the hype about us cutting Andre Roberts. I think that would be a mistake. We need to we need to keep Andre Roberts. A guy, again, just the fact alone that I choose Webb. The fact alone that he can both punt and kick return, and we don't need 2 guys to do that, is huge. And so I really hope that we are keeping Andre Roberts. But that would be the surprise cut, right? You're talking about the Buffalo Bills possibly having a surprise cut. We've had surprise cuts in years past. I think Brom's not good enough for the drama that he brings with him. Says Spin. I would have kept Webb over Fromm, says Scott. Like, again, guys, let me know, Webb or Fromm. I would have kept Webb over Fromm as well. I've said it earlier in the show before we found the news that the Buffalo Bills have released Webb. So that would be my choice as well. But maybe there's some guys out there who are Jake Fromm fans. They draft Fromm, so that gives him an edge, says CR. It does. But I think that Webb is just better, and we've heard more from him out of camp so far. So I would have gone with Webb. And again, like Spin said, I don't think Fromm's worth the drama that comes along with it. And I feel like there's a lesson to be learned from that drama, right? I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a chance in the NFL. I think he does. I think everyone deserves second chances, whatever it takes. But at the same time, you did something. Maybe you need to learn from it a little bit. But that's not my problem. That's not my problem. If it makes the team, I want him to do well for the Bills. My surprise cut right now has to be Kroom. For me personally, it has to be Kroom because, like we just talked about, Sam, we're not sure about anyone in that tight end room. So, and I'm not saying I'm sure about Jason Kroom either, but when I'm not sure about things, I want as many of them as I can get, right? I want as many. If I have 4 half decent tight ends who I'm worried about injuries, at least I have 4, not 3. I'd rather have 4 or 5 than 3. So that's why I'm surprised about Jason Kroom. I know some people are surprised about Duke Williams. But again, when we draft 2 wide receivers in the draft, I think the writing is on the wall for Duke Williams at that point. Again, maybe Duke Williams does make the practice squad due to the openness now of that practice squad roster spot. But I think we should make a move for O.J. Howard as a target. I saw that there was a burner account for, I believe it was who was it, Sam? I'm trying to remember what it was for yesterday on Twitter, but they tweeted, the burner account, trying to get Bills fans all excited, tweeted about the Buffalo Bills and possibly trading for Howard, and that did not happen. Obviously, it was a fake account, but I'm not surprised by Duke getting cut. Duke is just the cut that I'm most disappointed with this spin. And I know a lot of people like Duke. And again, I mean, if you've been a fan of this channel for a while, and again, guys, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. If you're new, here we are, 3:20. We've been live since 2 o'clock, giving you up-to-the-minute details about the cut day, about who's been cut for the Buffalo Bills. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. As we wait for the Buffalo Bills to trim this roster down to 53 guys. We have seen the Buffalo Bills waive Davis Webb. That just happens. Thoughts on DeMarlo? I think he should make the team. Add that depth there. That's my quick thought. I'll go more into Dean Marlowe in a second. I feel like he knows the system really well. You talk about being a system guy. I feel like he knows the system pretty well. Has made some improvements over last year. That's a better way of putting it. Spin. Yeah. I mean, again, biggest surprise for me right now has been Jason Kroom. That's something that I just was not expecting. They're talking about a potential trade with the 49ers for Robert Foster. So we'll see about that. But yeah, I like DeMarlo. I think he needs to stay. So we'll see what happens. But there's still some questions in that defensive backfield too. Definitely some players that are going to cut. Guys, let me know who you think is the next guy to get cut. Who do you think should be cut? If there's one surprise cut that you haven't seen yet that might happen, who do you think it is? I saw Andre Roberts. Would you give? No, I would not give Clowney. I would not give Clowney a chance in our system. Let me say that. I don't think we need Clowney right now. I think our defensive line is pretty solid. Like I said, I think our defensive line could be a top 5, top 3 defensive line. I think Clowney was at one point overrated. I think expectations have come down a little bit, and you see that, right? Because Clowney still thinks his talent's up here, and that's why he's demanding $15 million a season. But you see NFL teams saying, no, you're $8 million a season. So we'll see what happens. Hey, Miguel, just got here. Did Duke get cut? Duke did get cut. For those, Vernon Butler is my surprise cut, says Sam. Wow, that would be a surprise, especially considering we just got rid of a defensive tackle. But guys, let me give you a recap. 44 of you in here. So first of all, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. My name's Joe. If you're new, please be sure to hit that subscribe button to continue to keep you up to date on all Buffalo Bills news. But let me give you a recap of what's gone on so far today. So it started at about 9:30 morning. The Buffalo Bills released Jason Kroom. I did a video on Jason Kroom and Antonio Williams, running back, being waived. Antonio Williams, undrafted free agent from UNC. We released Josh Thomas, safety. That's not a surprise. Marquell Harold, not a surprise at the guard position. Cam Lewis, cornerback Cam Lewis. I've said this before. I'll keep saying it. So some of you who have been here the whole time are going to get sick of me saying it. The reason why I think Cam Lewis is a surprise is because that shows confidence in Josh Norman. That shows confidence in Levi Wallace to be healthy come week 1, right? Cam Lewis, if everyone was healthy, Cam Lewis was going to get cut. But with Josh Norman going down, with Levi Wallace being dinged up towards the end of camp, the fact that they still cut Cam Lewis means that they're showing faith in those two guys to be ready to go, or at least one of those two guys to be ready to go come week 1 against the New Jersey Jets. Release Andre Smith, the guy we just traded for. Released Trey Adams. Released Brandon Walton. Released Duke Williams. That's the big one that everyone's talking about. Nate Becker, tight end. Brian Cox Jr., defensive end. Tenzel Smart, defensive tackle. Vincent Taylor, defensive tackle. All have been cut. And we just learned that David Webb has just been cut by the Buffalo Bills. So lots of news going on. Again, thank you guys for joining me. Winter's not cut yet, but look at the depth at that position right now. You look at the depth at the right guard position, and there's just not a lot there. With John Feliciano going out earlier this year, obviously if John Feliciano is not injured, then we never trade for Brian Winters. But Brian Winters is in a position of need. So we'll see what happens. Spin, smash that like button. Absolutely. Do I think Moss takes over the number 1 spot this year? No, I think it's Singletary's, unless Singletary gets hurt, right? I think because I do not believe that anyone's job is safe. I always bring up the example of Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady. Drew Bledsoe was a 3-time Pro Bowler when he got knocked out against the Jets. And then here comes this young kid, 7th-round pick, and he just outshines what Drew Bledsoe did up until that point. In fact, Tom Brady's first start was against Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady won. So I know they don't play against each other, but that was just a microcosm of what was to come for Peyton Manning, just always losing to Tom Brady. So So yeah, so I just never think anyone's job safe. So if Singletary goes out, do I think Moss could take over? Absolutely. But if everyone's staying healthy, I think it's Singletary's job. 43 watching now and only 20. Hey, again, guys, thank you for joining me. 45 of you in here. I appreciate it. If you hit that like button, I would appreciate it a lot. But just keep talking. I always say at the beginning of my streams, the stream only goes well if you guys keep chatting, because I'm not going to keep chatting the whole. Actually, I would chat the whole 2 hours. If you've been here, you know I would chat the whole 2 hours. But I want you guys' opinion. I want this to be an open forum for everyone to talk about Buffalo Bills. Are you surprised by any of these cuts? If there's a cut you're surprised with that I haven't gone over, let me know. Trey Adams, for some people, might have been a surprise. I liked Trey Adams at Washington, but you didn't hear much about him in training camp. And again, that might be one of those guys, you hear anything about in training camp, hide him on the practice squad, right? Let him go through waivers, hide him on the practice squad. But there might be some guys that we think are going to make it to the practice squad that aren't going to make it. I don't think Duke Williams is going to make it through waivers. I don't. If you disagree, let me know in the comment section. Do you think Duke Williams is going to make it through waivers? Let me know. Nsekhe Williams taking the left tackle spot. I'm going to go with Nsekhe. What we got? For those who have missed it, here's my piece. Okay, so Ryan Tolbert did a piece on Reggie Gilliam, who is now obviously staying with the Buffalo Bills. Knox, what do I think injuries are going to catch up to us this year and make up for last year? Knock on wood. The Buffalo Bills, obviously injuries don't work that way, right? Injuries don't work. I mean, every once in a while you're going to have a major injury. That's just the way it goes. But I think the teams that, I think about a team like the Washington Redskins, or I'm sorry, the Washington team to be named later. I think about a team like that. I think about a team like the Eagles, surprisingly recently too. They seem to consistently have injuries, right? So I think that speaks to a training staff. I think that really does speak to a training staff. So I don't think injuries necessarily ever catch up to anybody. I think you have to do the right amount of training. I personally think we might see less injuries this year. There's a case to be made for both. I think we're going to see less injuries. No preseason. How many injuries happen in preseason? Excuse me, that really ended team's season, right? We saw, one that I always remember is Michael Vick in the preseason before the dog thing, tearing his ACL and being done for the season. And how many highlights do we miss from that year from Michael Vick? So I hope not. I think about seasons back not too long ago when we lost Wood due to injury, right? We lost him for a career. Wood would still be on this team as the center if he didn't hurt his neck. So interesting. I don't know. We'll see. What's something about trade? My surprise Pro Bowler is Duke now going to play for the Patriots. Buffalo, New Yorker, good to see on here. If Andre Smith ends up unclaimed and signed to the practice squad, does that reinstate the condition of his original trade pick? It depends on what's stated in a trade, right? Because I thought about that. I actually asked Greg Tomset from Cover One. Him and I were talking on Twitter about this. And yeah, so if the condition of that pick was simply if he makes the opening day roster, if he makes the initial roster on September 6th, then we would have owed a 7th rounder. But if there's no other language in there, let's drop onto the practice squad, and then week 2, bring him up and say, oh, here he is. So it really all depends on the language in the contract. I can answer that. I haven't seen the contract. Would love to. So if anyone from the NFL watches this and wants to know, if you want to email me the contract details of every contract regarding the Buffalo Bills, very much appreciate it. Believers Talk at Gmail, Believers Talk 34, or I'm sorry, Believers 3478 at gmail.com. So just email it to me, and we'll see what happens. But it really all depends on the language in the contract. So I'm not going to speak on that. But that is a good loophole for Brandon Beane and this Buffalo Bills team if there's no other condition other than he has to be on the 53-man roster as of September 6th. Because, again, like you said, he's unclaimed on waivers, which I think well. We put him on our practice squad, right? And all of a sudden, we got Andre Smith for nothing instead of that 2023 7th-round draft pick, which, again, it's a 2023 7th-round draft pick. However, we all know how Brandon Beane loves his picks. So we'll see what happens there. Buffalo Bill Foreigner says, thanks, Joe, for doing. Hey, thank you for tuning in. They don't talk Buffalo Bills in Wake Forest, North Carolina. Sad to see Duke go. Figured he would go. Wade has not been cut yet. Interested to see if he's still on the commissioner's exemption list. I know a lot of things have changed due to the pandemic. A lot of things have changed. So I'm not sure if maybe that extends to the commissioner's exemption list when it comes to international players. I'm not sure if Christian Wade's been in the United States this whole time. We don't know that. I don't think he was. I think he is now, but I'm not sure. So will that extend that international exemption list for another season until the season starts? Who knows? JPS says 2 national anthems. I'm not going to listen to any of them. I'm here talking to you guys. So when the games start, I'm here talking to you guys. I have the volume turned down because of copyrights. If I had the volume up, then my channel would be gone. So I don't listen to them. So I'll bring you Buffalo Bills news the whole time. I'll talk about each one of the games before the game. I normally get on about half hour before the game and talk about who's going to win, who's going to lose, things like that. I'm not getting into anything else. I'm talking about football, and that's it. So again, thank you guys for joining me. And by the way, Jack, thanks for joining me out in Hawaii. I know that it's still early out there for you guys too. So might be out on the beach having a good time. It's pretty nice here. It's like 78 degrees, something like that. Sunny. It's beautiful. I'm loving it. Maybe not as great as that Hawaii weather, but glad that you could join me, Sam. I agree. But yeah, so we're just going to talk football. We're just going to talk football. That's all we're going to talk about, and sports in general. We're going to talk about Buffalo Sabres. We're going to talk about Buffalo Bisons. We're going to talk about all that good stuff and continue to keep you guys updated on all of that news as we continue on here on lockdown. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is it state mandated, or did you get in trouble with your wife? Did Thomas catch you with his blow-up doll? I don't think Thomas Camp's in here right now, but if he was, I'm sure that could be an issue. I don't know. Why are you in lockdown? Is it a state thing? Continue to try to keep you guys up to date with the cuts. Again, thank you guys for joining me with 45 in here. Again, hit that like button if you haven't already. Or don't hit the dislike. Just if you don't like it, just leave. Right? If you don't like what I'm saying, just leave. Don't hit the dislike. That hurts my feelings. I've been told I only have one feeling left. So I guess it hurts that one. But I'm trying to keep you guys up to date. Again, just joining us. And if you're talking about the big cuts for the Buffalo Bills, Jason Kroom, Duke Williams, Cam Lewis, and recently Davis Webb would probably be my top 4 cuts by the Buffalo Bills, the ones that would be the most surprising around the NFL. The biggest surprising cuts, Lamar Miller was cut from the New England Patriots. So if we were short on running backs, that would be something. Mohamed Sanu, but wide receiver is not something we're interested in, was cut as well. Those are some of the biggest cuts. The New Orleans Saints have not reported a single roster cut yet. So I think that's interesting this late in the game. Less than an hour to go until 4 o'clock Eastern time. In fact, half an hour to go until 4 o'clock Eastern time. Philadelphia Eagles have cut some cornerbacks, which surprises because they're not great at cornerbacks. The Buffalo Bills are looking to trade Robert Foster. Last I heard, the 49ers do show some interest. Don't dislike Joe. No one disliked Joe. We had that in the beginning too, JP. We had that in the beginning too. I know exactly what you're talking about, but hey, it is what it is. We try to do the best we can with what we got. You do the best you can with the cards you're dealt. Hakeem Butler was released, but again, we don't need wide receiver help. So to me, that's a bit of a surprise. Miquel Treadwell, some of these wide receivers, man, I'm surprised. But again, we don't need them. Kyle Lauletta, quarterback. Then he came out the same year that Josh Allen did. I was a huge Kyle Lauletta fan. Came out of Richmond. Butler is nice, absolutely is. But yeah, Kyle Lauletta, quarterback out of Richmond. I was a huge fan of his. And I actually, don't say this too loudly. But if you go back to that video, there's evidence of it, so I can't hide it. But if you go back to my pre-camp 2018 ranking the quarterbacks video, I actually ranked Kyle Lauletta ahead of Josh Allen. Don't tell anybody. I think I ranked Josh Allen like 6th or 7th on my list. It was pretty bad. So I got one wrong. All right, guys, I got one wrong. I'm happy I got it wrong too. My kid logged in the United States, see a message. I'm sorry to hear that. Again, and then that's what we want to avoid. I mean, that's why I try to avoid that here. Like, I don't know who's watching my stuff, right? And I want to make it friendly, and I want to make it a happy experience for everyone here, right? Because we're Buffalo Bills fans, first and foremost. That's when we're here, we are Buffalo Bills fans. Again, guys, thank you for joining me. on Believers Talk for this cut day edition. Again, we're going over every single Buffalo Bills cut, and you will continue to get roster news right here on Believers Talk as it happens. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. I was a Rosen fan, man. It's all good to say. Yeah, we all make mistakes, right? We all make mistakes. But yeah, and then I'll leave. No, please don't leave. I mean, how else am I gonna know what the weather in Hawaii is like? You know, how else am I gonna know that? You're my Hawaii weatherman. And besides, I could try to flip the camera. I got your flag hanging in my window. You sent me a flag. I have it proudly displayed in my window, in my basement. So I do want you to know that, and I do appreciate you sending that to me. Probably about a year ago, right? I think you sent it last off season. So I am displaying that proudly in my window, in my now finished basement. So I do appreciate that. But again, we're going over some of the big cuts today. Mike, welcome, man. Glad to see you in here. I'm always a little sad for those we must cut. Yeah, it's like a mixed reaction, right? Because you're happy for the young guys like Reggie Gilliam, who just made the team. You're happy for them. You're happy for them to make the team. But then you see guys like Duke Williams, who you love to see. I think I make people laugh, so I'm happy about that. Who you want to show some love for not make the team, and it's just tough. You realize it's tough because for a lot of these guys, this is their potential salary. For all these guys, it's the potential salaries, right? These are their jobs. Imagine you worked at a job where every year, there's 80 of you in there, and every year you get to cut down to 53. Every year, about a fourth of you are just gone. And it's based on performance. And you got Jimmy and Sarah over there killing it. So they're staying, right? They've been Employee of the Month 3 years running. They've been Employee of the Year and all that good stuff. They got all these awards. One of them's banging the boss. I don't know. That's why Jason Kroom didn't make the team. Sorry. Oh, wow. But anyway, so just imagine that being an issue. And we don't, luckily for me, I work at a job where I don't have that as an issue. So yeah, you're talking about messing with families, paychecks. It must be hard on these coaches. It must be hard on these GMs. And it must be hard on players that do make the team, right? Josh Allen loved Duke Williams. Remember last year, Duke Williams scores that game-winning touchdown against Tennessee, one of the best moments of last season, off the field. Josh Allen running through the tunnel and saying, Duke, I love you. Like he says so loud, it echoed through the tunnel. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I love. And that's the kind of stuff that, you get every single year. But for every great moment, we don't see those moments where, hey, you know what? Cam Lewis has a family to feed, right? Cam Lewis has to worry about his job security. Cam Lewis has to wonder, hey, am I being, which again, Cam Lewis released by the Buffalo Bills. He doesn't make it through waivers. He gets picked up by the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, now my family's moving to Vegas, which is cool because I'm getting a paycheck. But school just started. If he has kids in school, right? These are real life things. Luckily, again, most of us don't have to worry about that. Thomas Camp's in the house. I just talked about you a little bit earlier. Jack Patrick said he was on quarantine. I wasn't sure if you lost your blow-up doll. Maybe he was in Hawaii or she was in Hawaii. Or watching your live stream on our smart TV, but she is drunk. You can't trust women with alcohol. You know what I mean? You just can't trust them, especially the fake ones. They just go nuts. They just go nuts all the time. Every time I've had to blow up doll in my house, my liquor ends up gone. Every time. It's ridiculous. I just can't take it. Why do you think they're gone? Why do you think they're not here? Choose liquor. It's my alcohol anonymous statement for the day. I've been on here maybe a little too long. But again, guys, thank you all for joining on this edition of Believers Talk as we continue to break down the Buffalo Bills roster moves. Again, they just cut Webb. Does that mean they're cutting from? Is that because normally, when Derek Anderson came on this team and he got hurt, by the time Buffalo Bill, you're new here, so newer, I should say. Thomas Camp always brings up his blow-up doll. His blow-up doll is always a part of the conversation every time. But talk about join the conversation. She's always here. But how? What was I talking about? I don't remember what I was talking about. There you guys go again, distracting me all the time. Jeez, I'll tell you what can I do? What can I do? Again, continuing to keep track of the latest news for the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, so we got rid of Webb. Do we keep Jake Fromm? I'm there. I remember because remember when we picked up Derek Anderson. When we picked up Derek Anderson when he got healthy. That's when we had Matt Barkley and Josh Allen, and so we never added him back. We never added him back to the active roster. He got healthy and he was still inactive every single week. So we only had 2 quarterbacks, but we had 1 inactive. So he technically was on the 53-man roster, but he was always inactive. So do we add Jake Fromm, or is having that third guy on the practice squad enough? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comment section. But just across my phone, League Source tells TBN Sports that the Buffalo Bills have released cornerback Brian Allen. So again, no surprise there. There are some notifications that we get at 3:39, 20 minutes before the 53-man time. The 53-man roster has to be set. That you're like, why did that take so long? And that's one of them. And no offense to the players that are on that list, but man, Brian Allen, cornerback. Again, we're lacking depth at corner. But if we got rid of Cam Phillips, Kata onto the practice squad. Mike comes in, $4.99 donation. Thank you very much. How about you run down the cuts to this point? Mike, first, I appreciate the donation. Thank you very much. I will happily do that. So, again, the roster cuts started early this morning. 9:30 this morning, the Buffalo Bills announced that they have released Jason Kroom, which to me is still the biggest surprise of the day. I don't know about the rest of you, but to me, that's the biggest surprise. Right after that, we released Antonio Williams, running back, who was an undrafted free agent. Safety Josh Thomas was released. Marquel Harrell, offensive guard. Cam Lewis, again, maybe a surprise to some of you. Cornerback. Andre Smith, the linebacker that the Bills just traded with the Carolina Panthers. He's been released. A 2020 undrafted free agent. Trey Adams, offensive tackle. He was released. Buffalo Bills announced the release of offensive lineman Brandon Walton. Duke Williams, obviously, is the big news one that was released. If you're a Bills fan, tight end Nate Becker, who was on the 53-man roster last year, just inactive a lot of the season, was released. Brian Cox, defensive end. Brian Cox Jr., defensive end. He was announced his release. Tenzel Smart, defensive tackle. Vincent Taylor, both defensive tackles, they've been released. Davis Webb has been released. And then we just found out about the other cornerback that was just released as well. My phone's acting up, so I can't get the name right now. Brian Allen has been released. So those are the names of the guys released today. Don't forget about yesterday when the Buffalo Bills announced that Voshon Joseph was being released. So he was released already. Tommy Sweeney still on PUP list. Corey Thompson was released. Patrick DeMarco went on the IR. So those are the moves starting yesterday that have come through today. Again, Mike, thank you for the $4.99 donation. Really do appreciate it, as we're 18 minutes away, less than 18 minutes away from 4 o'clock. And again, guys, when we're done here, Matt Freno will be on. So make sure you check him out. Again, tell him that I sent you. I appreciate all the love that I've gotten so far today. And I appreciate all you guys. I really do. So if you're not already subscribed to Billievers Talk, hit that subscribe button as we continue to keep you up to date on the Buffalo Bills, on what's going on cut day here in the NFL. Remember, a week and a day away, guys. A week from today, there will be 2 teams that have played in the NFL, that have started the NFL season. So make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to keep you up to date on the Buffalo Bills, and we're going to give you that live play-by-play every single week, of myself or Paul Morrow from #Sports. Just like last year, it was really a good time, and we look forward to it again this year. So again, guys, thank you so much. Mike, thank you for the $5 donation. All our $4.99 donation, all the proceeds from the super chat go right back directly into this channel to give you guys the best Buffalo Bills content that I can. Plan to get new softwares, microphones, all that good stuff to make sure you guys hear this voice right, because this voice is the voice of an angel, and so you guys need to hear it. You guys need to hear it the way it sounds. But again, thank you very much. So that's a rundown of what's happened with the Buffalo Bills so far today. Again, some other big cuts throughout the day. Lamar Miller was cut by the Patriots. Hakeem Butler from the Cardinals. Hey, Mike, I thank you. Again, I appreciate all you guys. Duke Williams to the Bills, probably the biggest cut there. I'm looking through the Panthers right now. Looking to see if there's any big cuts, names you might know. Cam Phillips was released by the Carolina Panthers. He was on the practice squad last year for the Bills, played in the XFL for, the 3 weeks that the XFL was here. Caro Santos, former kicker of the Chiefs, he was released by the Bears because that's what the Bears can afford to do, release kickers at this point. Brandon Allen was released by the Cincinnati Bengals. He played a little bit last year. He was released. Dontrell Hillard, running back. Garrett Gilbert, released from Cleveland. Cornerback A.J. Green, not wide receiver A.J. Green, has been released. Clinton Dix was released. That's a big name that's been out there recently. Really hope we can get Duke on the practice squad. Andrew comes in. I do too. I think that we need to, and again, whatever wide receiver ends up on our practice squad, if one does, he's going to get used during the season. He's going to be on the active roster at some point in this season. Just because it's hard to believe, kind of like the offensive lineman that we're going to have on our practice squad, he's going to be brought up at some point, Ike Bacher, every year we get brought up for a game or two, right? He was never used. He was a depth guy, but he get brought up for a game or two, because injuries are going to happen. Whether it happens to your star players, whether it happens to Diggs or happens to Isaiah McKenzie, injuries do happen. And whether it's a game or two, whether it's a season, you're going to need those guys on the practice squad. And due to the pandemic, let's be honest, that's why they expanded this practice squad. That's why they did it, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of how bad, how long. And so we're going to need those guys to continue. Center guard Ryan Roy has been released. Again, guard position, maybe something the Buffalo Bills want to look at. So he's going to be released. So let's, I don't know. Any of the names that I'm saying, I personally don't think any of them sound enticing to the Buffalo Bills as far as, picking up off of waivers between today and tomorrow. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think we could use an extra linebacker back there? We did keep Del'Shawn Phillips. That could be our linebacker depth behind Matt Milano. Again, Matt Milano last 2 seasons has been dinged up at times. So you do have to make sure you have a backup there. Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds, everything we're hearing out of them in camp has been amazing. So I'm excited about that. I hope you guys are as well. I just want to see healthy. I think if this team stays healthy, there should be a clear path to a potential AFC Championship berth, maybe even a little bit further, right? I truly see that. And I've talked about that in my previous streams. I know I'm going to have prediction videos coming out this week as we get ready for the NFL season, but man, it's hard. It's hard to look at the AFC because, guys, this is the first time in a long time, right? I am a 34-year-old man, and this is the first time in my adult life you can look at the Buffalo Bills and say there is a path, a realistic path to the Super Bowl for the Buffalo Bills, right? And so to say that and then try to do a prediction show in the AFC that doesn't have the Buffalo Bills hitting that path, it's just hard. It's just hard. From a fan standpoint, it's just hard to do. It's just hard to think about the Buffalo Bills. Again, on paper, the Buffalo Bills have a top 3 team in the AFC, in my opinion. In my opinion, you look at the Chiefs, look at the Ravens, and then you look at maybe the Bills and Steelers fighting for that 3rd spot, okay? Definitely top 5 on paper. But it's a matter of putting that together on the field. And we'll see if they can do that. We'll see if they can do that, obviously. Anything less than 19-0 this year is a disappointment. Now, I do want, because I did talk about that in a previous, there is a difference in my mind, and maybe you guys don't think this way, and that's okay. We're all allowed to think the same way. As I hit 53, because we're getting ready to hit the 53-man roster, I like it. I like how that happened. But anyhow, as we talk about this and the chance of making the Super Bowl and I want to make the Super Bowl, right? And I'm going to be cheering for us to make the Super Bowl. But that's not my expectation. I always set my expectation. You should always have expectations. I truly believe that. But I compare it to, let's say I go out, or better yet, let's say you have a 16-year-old son or daughter, and they try out for high school sports. Juan comes in and says, I'm kind of glad Isaiah McKenzie made the cut. Isaiah McKenzie did make the cut. But let's say they try out for sports. Whatever sport they're in, do you expect them to be the best right away? I don't. I would expect my son, daughter, or whatever to have growing pains as they try to get to the best of their ability, right? And now Josh Allen's been here for 2 seasons. This is his 3rd year. I expect better from him. I do. But what can we expect as a team? And I've asked this question a bunch, and I've yet to see an answer. I've yet to find an answer. When was the last time a quarterback who started the season and had 0 playoff wins led his team to a Super Bowl victory? Right? Because that's what we want. We want Josh Allen, who currently has 0 playoff wins, to lead this team to a Super Bowl. It's never happened. Below 0, that's my expectation. Listen, last year the Buffalo Bills blew my expectations out of the water. I said 9-7, anything more than that's gravy. And the way we got to 10-6 just blew my expectations out of the water. We made the playoffs, which was a little bit more than I expected. It was 1 loss. What was 1 loss? I don't know. But anyway, so my expectation this year for the Buffalo Bills is AFC Championship game and a home playoff win. But remember, this will be our first home playoff game since 1995. So if we get our first home playoff win since the same year, that would be another step in the right direction. And listen, Josh Allen, it was 1 loss. No, okay, you're right. He's 0-1. But my question is when, and I'm okay with him being 0-1. That's fine. When has a quarterback who has started a season, who was the week 1 starter, led his team to the Super Bowl? To win the Super Bowl? When has a guy with 0 playoff experience who was the starter at the beginning of the season, because listen, Nick Foles did it, right? But Nick Foles wasn't the starter for the Eagles week 1, right? It just didn't happen. Trent Dilfer did it for the Baltimore Ravens, but he wasn't the starter week 1. Was a young buck. I mean, it's all 4 Super Bowls. First time I have that feeling back. Again, Scott, thank you for the $4.99 donation. Ben Roethlisberger. I'd have to look at that. And Terry Bradshaw, I have to look at that. Maybe Big Ben. Maybe Big Ben back in when they played Seattle. But that's possible. But my point is it's rare, right? It's rare. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying that it can't be a first. I'm not saying that, I won't be cheering for it to happen. But, man, it's rare. So for us to expect that from Josh Allen, I think is putting a little too much on his plate. For us to want that for Josh Allen is acceptable, is what we should want. We should want that for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills and us as fans. We should want that. But it hasn't happened. Thank you, Bro SMP. Thanks a lot. But yeah, maybe it's been. But again, Scott, thank you for the $4.99 donation. I was a young buck for the first 4 Super Bowls too, but I was probably too young to know exactly what it all meant, right? I remember watching the Super Bowls with my dad. I don't remember watching the AFC Championship games. You know what I mean? The Super Bowls were big moments in my household, and especially growing up in New York. There were big moments at the school, right? The school I went to. So obviously I did not pay as much attention to football back then as I do now, or as I did as a teenager even. But I do remember the 4 Super Bowls. Is a rare specimen, so it fits the Bills. Hey, I would love it. I'm not saying that I don't want it to happen. I want it to happen, guys. I want the Bills to win the Super Bowl. I want the Bills to win the next 10 Super Bowls, okay? I do. 20, 30, name a number, infinity Super Bowls. I don't care. I want the Bills to win all of them. And listen, I'm not one of those guys who says, after I win a couple, it would be boring. No, I used to be an Atlanta Braves fan. And when Atlanta went to win their 900th division in a row, I wasn't like, they've done this already a lot. Although I do think it had something to do with the lack of fans during the regular season for Atlanta. Because, again, they were used to they're going to win the division. We'll watch them in playoffs, right? But I don't get sick of that feeling. I don't get sick of winning. I don't. I want to keep winning. Josh Allen will be the best quarterback in Bills history when it's all written. That's no disrespect to Jim Kelly. Now, here's a great question for all of you watching. If Josh Allen wins a Super Bowl, one Super Bowl, Does he? If he wins the Super Bowl this year, let's say he wins the Super Bowl this season. Okay, this season the Bills hold up that Lombardi Trophy. Does Josh Allen, in your mind, already surpass Jim Kelly? Because for me, it will take more than that, right? For me, it's about consistency. For me, it's about longevity. Okay, so depends how they win, says Carso. Andrew says no. To me, I would agree with Andrew. It's about longevity, right? Because you don't just talk about, okay, you can talk about the 4 Super Bowls in a row, but you can also talk about all the divisions we won in that time while Jim Kelly was here. Excuse me. You talk about all the offensive weapons that made the Pro Bowl. This reminds me of when Polian built the Bills in the 80s. McBean and company are doing great things. It's great, like the way it's building. I completely agree. He will need to sustain success like Jim Kelly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. I know a lot of Bills fans who will be excited when that happens. When Josh Allen wins the Super Bowl. I'm making them walk of shame in middle school 4 years in a row. Oh man, yeah. Luckily, I was living in New York at the time, and again, I was so young that I didn't know what shame was. Right? I was like, okay, we lost. I mean, welcome. But again, I was so young, like that's just what I knew. The Bills were in the Super Bowl. Bills win, or Bills are in the Super Bowl. Bills are in the Super Bowl. Bills are in the Super Bowl. I mean, I can't imagine me at 8 years old realizing that the Bills weren't in the Super Bowl every single year. What was that moment like, right? That moment of just like, wait, no, it's the Super Bowl. The Bills host the Super Bowl. It's kind of like the Big Ten versus Pac-12 in the Rose Bowl. It's just the way it is. You can't tell me any different. Man, that must have been hard. Does anyone know the period of time the players are on waivers? Well, they'll be on waiver. So the team has till tomorrow. Under normal circumstances, the team would have until tomorrow to decide. And normally it's tomorrow, I believe, at 2 p.m., but it could be 24 hours. But then by Monday, we'll know who's on the Buffalo Bills practice squad. So, yeah, we're very excited. Again, I appreciate everyone who's on Twitter sharing this right now. If you haven't shared this, please take time to share. I appreciate it. I would run. Yeah, why would I show that? Let's show it. There you go. I don't want to be there, Buffalo Bill. I don't want to be there. I mean, you know, I'll be excited too. But like, listen, you might try to hug me or something, and I just don't know. Just don't know if I could allow that in that situation. GoFundMe. Start that GoFundMe. I think there'll be a lot of GoFundMes going on in Buffalo when we win the Super Bowl. But I'm excited. I'm excited for this season. I hope you guys are too. 5th or 8th grade. Just kidding. But seriously, listen. I don't know how the live streams will work in the playoffs, right? I don't know. I don't know how I could live stream the Super Bowl, guys. I just really don't know. There would not be a Super Bowl party at my house because I wouldn't want other people around me. The emotion. I mean, if you guys are new to the channel, if you guys did not watch any of the games I live streamed last season, for those of you who weren't here, listen to the people who were here. There's a lot of emotion that comes out of me during a Bills game, and I tone it back because I'm on camera and I don't want to swear. And again, I want this to remain friendly and family oriented and yada yada yada, blah blah blah. But there is a lot of passion in me that comes out during Buffalo Bills game. So I hope you guys enjoy that because I look forward to doing it again this year. Why not stream all the games myself? Ask Scott. We're talking about it. We're talking about it. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Let's just say that. But man, there's a lot of emotion there, and it's going to continue. That's for sure. Glad for McKinsey and Gilliam, says John Patrick. Yeah, I am as well. We talked about, you can be excited for these guys. Let me see what these new tweets are. Again, try and keep you guys up to date on everything going on with the Buffalo Bills. How many cuts are left? There's only 2 minutes left. Well, you're going to find out about a few after they happen, right? After the 4 o'clock deadline. But there are still a few cuts, as far as I'm aware, that need to be made by the Buffalo Bills. I'm always, yeah, I do appreciate that one. I do have the unfortunate news that we will not be on Sportscaster this year, unfortunately. Thank you, Scott. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate it. That's what I try to do here. That's the atmosphere I want to bring. Like, we're just sitting here watching the Bills game, and we could talk Buffalo Bills, and we could chat about stuff. And you guys get to sit here and watch me eat lunch for some odd reason, because I can't eat lunch before live streams. All right, 4 p.m. Let's go. So let me try to see. Let me pull up a current Buffalo Bills roster for you. See how many guys are left. And again, if I missed a couple, Matt Perino will be on here going live, and he'll update you on everything going on. So when I cut out here, go over to Matt Perino's chat. Let him know that I sent you. Let him know that I was talking high about him. I'll chat, or tell him I gave him crap. I don't know. I don't care. But he does a great job. If you're not following him on Twitter, if you're not following him on here, you should be doing that. So we know about Josh Allen. He's probably going to be on the team. Matt Barkley on the team. We still haven't heard anything about Jake Fromm. So as of right now, Jake Fromm is on the team. So we got Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, TJ Yeldon, all on the team. We haven't heard anything about Tawan Jones. So looks like he will be on the team. Actually, I think we did hear that sources said he would be on the team. So we got Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, Isaiah McKenzie, Andre Roberts, John Brown. Interested to see if we did get a trade for Robert Foster. We will see about that. Cole Beasley, Isaiah Hodgins, Dawson Knox, Tyler Kroft, Lee Smith. But he's there. And then Rhythm could be added to the tight end room. You talk about left tackle, Deion Dawkins, Ty Nsekhe, Ryan Bates made the team. Quentin Spain, Darrell Williams, Mitch Morse, Evan Baum, Brian Winters. Didn't hear anything otherwise from him that he's not going to make the team, so he's on the team. John Feliciano, obviously out. Cody Ford, Ty Nsekhe. And that's another thing, guys. Remember, and hashtag reported about this on Twitter. So John Feliciano is on the 53-man roster. So tomorrow, they're going to put him on the inactive list, and then they'll have that open roster spot. So that's a roster spot you have to look at as well as still open. Yeldon made it. Yeah, Yeldon did make it. So he might be an inactive. But now I'm looking as the NFL Network's talking about Adrian Peterson. I haven't heard any news about Adrian Peterson being signed by anyone. Again, Adrian Peterson was released by the Washington football team, or the Washington team to be named later, or whatever they're called right now. Josh Rosen was released. So we can talk about how happy we are that we got the right Josh, it seems, in the draft. Clinton Dix, Paul Richardson. Again, Jaquan Griffin would be one that if I was Buffalo Bills GM or coaching staff I'd look at. Defensive tackle Mario Edwards, safety Demarius Randall. If you're looking at the safety position, Joe McCoy was released as well. Ike Bacher will be on the initial 53-man roster, pointed out by Matt Perino. Again, Ike Bacher, definitely a depth guy there, a guy who knows the Buffalo Bills system well, has been here for a little bit now. So we'll see what continues to happen there. But guys, we've been on here for 2 hours. I do appreciate everything that you guys have done. Yeldon is there for the veteran presence. Absolutely. You're talking about the number one, number two guys having a combined total of 1 year of football knowledge, NFL knowledge, I should say. So you want a guy with that veteran experience. But the other question that I've always asked when I said that to myself is TJ Yeldon that guy who's going to give the other guys insight, right? Is he going to be willing to share information? I don't know. I don't know if he's that guy or not. Like he's never struck me as a leadership type guy. So to take charge in that running back room, I just don't know how I can believe that. But again, I'm not there. So Ike is still on the team. Yes, Ike Bacher is still on the team, John. So again, big cuts today, right? Big cuts if you're a Bills fan. You talk about Jason Kroom, talk about Duke Williams, talk about Cam Phillips, some of the big name cuts, that were on this roster. But man, Duke, yeah, I said Duke Williams. But yeah, you got a really good team here in Buffalo, so I'm really excited. Singletary is ready. Yeldon is confusing. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure what he does add an element out of the backfield that we don't have, or we potentially don't have. I don't know. But we did hit 4 o'clock on the East Coast. As I said, I'll be here until 4 o'clock. Again, Matt Perino is going live shortly after the deadline, so I think he should be live here shortly if he's not already. So again, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Go hang out with him. My voice is getting a little sore, but I do appreciate it. I appreciate the super chats from everyone who contributed. Again, all of the super chats go back into this channel. 7 wide receivers, it looks that way. Haven't heard anything about Isaiah Hodgins otherwise. So he will be on the roster. So 7 wide receivers. Wasn't expecting Phillips to make the team. Yeah, he made the team as well. Again, depth guy. Talking about a guy who was with the team last year, 10 games on the practice squad. So he does know the system a little bit. So happy to see him on the team. Reggie Gilliam was a guy we weren't sure about, has made the team. So we'll see what happens as we hit past the 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time hour. Did the Buffalo Bills find a trade partner for Robert Foster, or is he just released? Okay. Because right now, I mean, without hearing anything from Robert Foster, we have 8 wide receivers, right? But the source came out earlier saying that we would try to find a trade partner for Robert Foster, and if we couldn't find a trade partner, he would be released. But again, guys, appreciate everything you guys do for this channel. Appreciate all the love and support you guys have given. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, be sure to do so. Before you leave, if you're watching this not live, leave a comment. Leave a comment. We'll have to talk about anything that's happened during this roster cut day. Again, deadline just expired, 4 or 5 on the East Coast right now. Matt Perino is going to keep you up to date on everything happening with the Buffalo Bills. He'll be going live here in a second. In fact, I'll see if he's live now. But yeah, continue to show him some love, and again, continue to show all of these Buffalo Bills YouTubers some love, because man, it's not easy doing what they do. They do a great job, and it's not always easy. So I want to make sure to give them their due diligence. And Buffalo Fanatics will be going live later tonight. You know, they go live every single night. But yeah, we will see what they have to say about the roster cuts. And again, teams have, I believe, 24 hours, if that, to decide if they want to claim a guy off waivers. You guys take care. I actually have a nice night planned, so I'm going to enjoy my night. If there is breaking news, though, you know you can get right here on Billievers Talk, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, leave a comment, tell me what you think. But hit that notification bell after you subscribe so you get notified most of the time when I give you new updates, when I bring the new coverage. So will the Bills sign anyone off waivers? Possibly. Who will the Bills sign off waivers once they put Feliciano on the PUP list or whatever, the injury list? You know, who are they going to pick up off roster? So for the 53rd roster spot. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. So make sure you catch it on Billievers Talk right here. Again, thank you guys for joining me for these last 2 hours. It's been a lot of fun. I always enjoy doing them. So make sure you guys head over to Matt Perino as I get one more update. Terrell Dotson appears to be on the 53-man roster. So that's a little bit of a new twist than what we heard earlier. So Terrell Dotson did make the team. So that's the update that I got. So again, thank you guys very much for joining me as we're at 4:06. Still not sure about some decisions, right? Still not sure what happened with Robert Foster. Still not sure if Jake from State Farm is on the team. From State Farm, I don't know how you say it, is on the team. A couple players we're still not sure about. Make sure you watch for Matt Perino's live stream. He'll keep you up to date. And I'll continue to keep you updated on Twitter. So make sure you follow me on Twitter, all that good stuff. I ain't saying goodbye. I don't like goodbyes. But have a great night, guys. Again, if there is more breaking news, I'll bring it to you right here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.